Okay. Hey guys, what's up? Let me give you guys a time to get in here. Hold on. I was trying to figure out. I'm like, how do you start your stream on StreamYard with a thumbnail? But then I figured it out. So I was like, okay, that's good. Whatever. Hey guys, what's up? It's Marlene. Happy Wednesday. Today, Wednesday. Cool. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing well. This is a early broadcast because I have things to do today. I can't be here from like 12 to 3. I got things to do. But I've been in a like funky mood. If you probably haven't noticed, but I've been going through a lot. I've been going through a lot. I've been going through a lot since 2016, but I decided to come out of it. Then I was like, I'm gonna change my mindset and go back at it again. So, but I've been going through a lot. 2019 and 20, it's been hard, right? And it's been like constant, like having to deal with like rejection, having to deal with delays, having to deal with setbacks, having to deal with like production issues and and design issues and marketing. I mean, I've been having to deal with a lot, like family stuff, marriage stuff, children stuff. Girl, I am exhausted. You know what I mean? I've been exhausted. And since we came back from the wedding, right? I was supposed to be done with the pre-orders for my collection. And because I have different labs working on the shadows, and some of the shadows came from this one specific lab. And when I tell you, like, those shadows were just like horrible, horrible. Okay, to the point like it affected me so much. Like I had a migraine, and I've really been sad ever since because I was like, wow, I've been in this thing for almost like 2 years. Like I just want to be done with this. Like, why is it that people can't just do things right? And it really has affected my psyche, right? That's why I told y'all yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm going to fast and everything like that. You hear me? And then today, I get like, because I'm on Twitter, and I guess I signed up for like tweet notifications. So I get this tweet, right? I get this tweet, like it sent me a notification from this guy. I believe he's Haitian. I think he's Haitian. His name is like Pierre, Jacques, whatever. And it's nothing personal with the brother, but I guess it is somewhat personal if I'm saying his name right. So he has an investment fund. So first and foremost, he went to Harvard. Okay, he went to Harvard Business School, and it's not even like, not trying to be mean, whatever. But one thing I've noticed with Black people who go to Harvard Business School and white people who go to Harvard Business School, it seems to me that even when you have a Harvard business degree, if you don't have the right complexion to go along with that Harvard business degree, it seems as though you're not propelled as you would be, right, if your skin was white. And it's like, it's with him and his friend. That guy labeled me an anti-Semite. Like, that stuff hurt me to the core. But I'll get to that story too. Like, yeah, I think his partner's from the Bahamas, right? And the dude, like, homeboy, like, labeled me an anti-Semite because I was writing for them. And I'll tell you why, right? So they went to Harvard. They have an investment fund. It's called Harlem Capital. You know what I mean? And at that time, when I found them, like, they were writing like $100,000 check or something like that. And I think they had like about like $40 million under management. I was like, that's not a lot, And then there's another makeup brand called Mented Cosmetics that's it belongs to two Black girls. And those two Black girls also, I think one of the girls' name is EJ or something like that. Those two Black girls also, they went to Harvard Business School. You see what I mean? And it's like, it took those girls like 2 years to raise $1 million. Like, it's not even that deep. Like, $1 million, I'm not trying to be like, it's not like I'm like disregarding money or whatever, right? But it's like, it's not even that deep though. Like, if you're talking about $1 million for yourself, yeah, it's a lot. But to run a business and to do things that need to be done, like, it's not that much money, especially when you consider cost of like production, marketing costs, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot. You hear me? And then the girls, there were two white girls who also went to Harvard Business School. I don't think they were the same class, but they definitely went to Harvard Business School. And one of them is Katia Beauchamp, right? So she's this white girl, and she's the founder of. Can you guys comment? Can you guys see me? Can you comment? Right? Can you write something in the comments so I know you're here? Because it's weird. I got like 20 people. Nobody's talking. I'm like, is this working right? So please let me know if it's not, because I don't want to start talking this like it's not working right. Please write a comment so I know you're here and you can hear me. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. Like, I was getting scared. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna. Oh, Fada, good morning, boo boo. You know what I'm saying? And so Katia Beauchamp and her girl, they're two white girls, right? Katia Beauchamp, like the Beauchamp, either she's French or she's Canadian, but she's Anglo-Saxon. She's the French white people, whatever, right? So her, when she was at Harvard with her friend, right? They entered a competition. So it was not even like the business wasn't ready. They had no product. It was just like proof of concept, really, right? They enter a business competition. Okay. Oh, thank you, babe. And so they get $1 million to fund this idea. And what exactly was the idea? The idea was Birchbox. The fact that people will pay monthly to receive sample items in the mail, the subscription model, but of sample products. Now, for me, Marlene, honestly, I didn't really understand that because I'm like, anybody can just go to Sephora. And when you go to Sephora, you can sample anything. You don't have to pay. You can sample perfumes. You can sample, like they have little vials. Now they probably won't do it because of COVID. But like, if it wasn't for COVID, they have little vials, right? Where they actually can sample like perfume for you to take home. They can sample like any kind of cream. Like if it's a cream or whatever, like you can sample a lot of things with Sephora. And on top of that, if you're part of the Rouge, VIB Rouge, whatever, you also get samples if you have enough points. And even now, I think they're turning their points into like actual money that you can apply to your balance or whatever. So I didn't even see, I'm like, I don't see why, I don't see who needs this, right? And like, she got the $1 million. And it goes without saying that Birchbox is a failure. It's a failure. And even though Birchbox is a failure, this girl has been able to raise $65 million. She did a pre-seed. She did a Series A, Series B, Series C, Series D. The girl went and raised $64 million. I think her last round, she even raised like $30 million, even though she was completely in the red. So she has a business that's a failure, but she's been able to become a multimillionaire, almost a billionaire with a failed business model. What's up, y'all? You see what I'm saying, right? But then the girls from Mented Cosmetics, who also went to Harvard, it took them 2 years. And mind you, not proof of concept. They already had the business. They already had a following. Like they actually have a real business. You see what I mean? And the thing about the boys from Harlem Capital, right? Because I believe he's Haitian. When you see someone with a first name and a last name, they're both French and they're both first names. That's a Haitian person. And the other guy that he's partnered with, I think he's from the Bahamas. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, when you look at Emily Weiss from Glossier, right? This girl went to NYU. Like, listen to me. She went to NYU undergrad to do interior design, like to move furniture around. That's why she went to NYU for. Okay. And then she has no graduate degree. Then she did 2 internships. She did one for Who, What, Where. Come to find out, even the white girl who runs Who, What, Where, she's also a scammer. She has stolen so many design, like jewelry design, clothing design. She will buy stuff from Etsy, from other white girls and say it was her stuff. Like the girl's a scammer. She's a scammer. Just like the Kardashians. Right? So she had an internship at Who, What, Where, and then she had an internship at Vogue. And you know who else had an internship at Vogue? Your girl, Candace Owens. And she still didn't get nothing out of it. And she still couldn't afford to pay her last semester of college, right? So Emily Weiss, she is Jewish. I don't even know why people want to criminalize saying that people are Jewish. It's like saying, oh, Marlene's West African or Marlene is Pentecostal, whatever. It's your ethnicity. It's your cultural identification. It's not criminal. Okay, so her name is Emily Weiss. And honestly, if you know a lot about like Jewish people from Eastern Europe or Western Europe, you'll know her real name is Weisserman. But a lot of Jewish people, to avoid certain kind of issues, to avoid not being embraced by these Anglo-Saxons when they came here, like after the Second World War, a lot of Jewish people changed their names or cut their names shorter to not have any issues. So like Weiss is actually Weisserman. You know what I mean? And there's different ways to write that. Like Libowitz, you know what I mean? Like Stein, like these, like, I'm not, like, it's nothing mean to say that. So she goes to Sequoia Capital, right? Sequoia Capital is another investment. Like there's like a venture capital on crack. They got so much money, it's ridiculous. Okay. And they gave her $50 million with a resume that's like, oh yeah, you went to NYU for furniture design or whatever, interior design, right? And then you have 2 internships. Okay, we think you can manage $50 million. That's a fact. And then she had her blog In the Gloss, right? That's why the company's called Glossier. It's off the blog because the blog was called In the Gloss. So she ran a blog for 10 years. But it's like, how does that make her a manager? How does that qualify her to run a company? How does that qualify her to manage $50 million? Like, how does that even qualify her to read an income statement? How does that even qualify her? Like, how? She's not qualified. She's not qualified. And they gave this girl $50 million. So when I'm talking to his partner and I'm saying, like, the reason why I'm like, you guys went to Harvard. Both of you guys went to Harvard. You both have MBAs from Harvard. That's a very prestigious education. You see what I'm saying? And on top of that, then people can't trust you to run like 100 million, 200 million. But they'll give this girl who goes to NYU to move furniture and had 2 internships about fashion and clothes and pants and lip gloss. They can trust her with 50 million. There is a problem. That's all I was saying. And I'm not lying. And when you and the thing now, and this is what I was saying yesterday, people think I'm mean, but I've come to realize the fact that a lot of people are just ignorant. A lot of people are just ignorant, and a lot of people don't read. And the problem that we have in America is that not all Black people are in America for the same reason. Like, you have African Americans who are here because, they ain't got a choice. They stuck here. That's the only language they know. That's the only country they know. And it's like they're fighting for civil rights and civil justice and, to get what they deserve because they're owed a lot. And then you have a lot of Black immigrants who are just here to make money. And then they name their companies Harlem Capital. They use all the stuff that's historically African American, and they don't even know the history behind these things. You see what I mean? Like, when you talk about Harlem, no, like this stuff, like, and that's why I was like writing hard for them, because when you think about Harlem, even me, Marlene, when I really started to fall in love with Harlem, it was through James Baldwin. Okay, because when I first came to this country, and I was like, oh, my birthday's in February. I'm an Aquarius, right? And Black History Month does fall on my birthday. So I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. So I made it like a ritual tradition thing to always like read more books by African Americans, for African Americans, like, or by Black people during Black History Month, so I could know more about African American history. And it was in the 7th grade that I read James Baldwin. Right. And that's what it's talking about. Oh, he was like during the Harlem Renaissance and things like that. And I started to learn a lot more about Harlem. And then that stuff led me to learning about Madame Stéphanie Sinclair, she's kind of like me in a sense that she is like Black. She's an immigrant. She's dark skinned, and she's a French speaking, Creole speaking, Black, dark skinned Black woman from Martinique. She comes from Martinique, so she speaks Creole French, right? She will end up in Marseille. She goes to Marseille. Marseille is like the south of France, right? She was abused, molested, raped. I mean, her story is so evil. I don't know how she ends up in America on another boat. She ends up in America. I think that's when she lands in New York. Her life was horrible. She had to like clean and be a maid. Like, she was getting abused, and she got tired of it. Then she started hurting people bad, okay? But Madame Stéphanie Sinclair, she becomes like one of the first matriarchs of Harlem. You know what I mean? She's a gangster. Because she had to be a gangster. You see, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, people should be criminals and gangsters. But you know what? At that time, when America was what America was back then, Black people couldn't go to the police. Black people couldn't, Black people were left to they had to do their own form of protection. You know what I'm saying? And for as much as she was a gangster, Madame Stéphanie Sinclair was also a banker. If you ever hear about Harlem bankers, they were people who ran numbers. They had their own banks. They ran numbers. You see how I'm a susu lady? I promise you, she probably is my spirit animal, right? You see, I'm a susu lady. It's the same thing. Like, she ran numbers. She created a way for Black people to make enough money because they were not getting paid what they should have been paid. You see what I'm saying? And what we don't want to talk about in America is, Irish people came here and they probably were abused. You know what I'm saying? They probably were not treated well. The Italians came here and they probably weren't treated well. And amongst all these people from Europe, amongst all these nationalities, you have Jewish people, because being Jewish is not a nationality, it's an ethnicity. It's an ethnicity. Like, for example, right? Like you have Yoruba people who believe in like the Ife and things like that. Like, Yoruba people have their set of beliefs, right? But guess what? When you go over to another country that's right next door to Nigeria, that's called Benin, even though they don't have the same nationality, these people are Nigerians. These people are from Benin. Ethnically, culturally, they have the same cultural identity. They have the same cultural identity. The majority of Haitian people, you know what I mean? The majority of Haitian people are of Nigerian and Benin descent. Because it's the same thing. It's the same cultural identity. In the same way, like you can have Ashanti people in Ghana, and then you'll have Ashanti people in the Ivory Coast, right? It's culturally, it's the same thing. It's just when people drew these borders, some people end up speaking English, and some people end up speaking French. You know, nationalities are different, but culturally, it's the same culture. The Ashanti culture in Ghana is the Ashanti culture that's in the Ivory Coast. They people they get married the same. They die the same. The burial service is the same. Everything is the same. It's just that our kente, like our Ivorian kente, tends to be more orange and red. Their Ghanaian kente, the Ashanti kente in Ghana, tends to be more like neon color. It's like their color's a bit more neon. They go like neon green. Like their stuff is very bold. It's very vibrant. Ours is more like orange terracotta kind of stuff, right? But these are the same people. It's the same people who move from one place to the next because there was issues in Ghana at that time. So the Queen Poku, she, according to the story, I wasn't there, but she fed her baby to some hippopotamus so that they could rise up and her people could walk on their backs. And that's how they crossed over the river, the Comoe River. I don't know how you say it in English, but to that Rivière Comoe, Chirano, that they crossed over from the Comoe River to come and settle into what is today the Ivory Coast. It's the same thing for Burkina Faso. When you go to Burkina Faso, you land in Burkina Faso. When you land in the capital, which is Ouagadougou, you'll see this magnificent woman on a horse. She's on a stallion. Meg the stallion needs to go sit to the left, right? Because the first black stallion out here is the stallion of Yenega. But Yenega, Queen Yenega, is from Ghana. She's Ghanaian. And she was like, I remember when I was going to my French little school, which is named after the writer Antoine Saint-Exupéry. You know, he wrote the book, The Little Prince. So they have a school for him in Ouagadougou. It's like they have the elementary school and they have the high school, Saint-Exupéry. So Antoine Saint-Exupéry, who is the writer of The French Prince, right? The French Prince, The Little Prince. You know what I'm saying? But like we used to study all about Joan of Arc, this, the white girl who was this, but she's not that deep. Like Joan of Arc is not badass. Like when you study the stallion of Yenega, and like Joan of Arc, who got caught and killed by them white men, nobody killed Yenega. So she fled because she was the most powerful woman in her father's army. And because of that, he didn't want Yenega to marry. So she left her home. She's Ghanaian. She's a Ghanaian who fled. So she crosses, the way she crossed, because I think she's from the northeast part of Ghana. So she just crosses to the north of the Ivory Coast, ends up in Burkina Faso. And she meets a man he's a trader of elephants. So most likely he's Ivorian. The Ivory Coast, you know what I'm saying? Most likely. But they go and they settle up there. Because the northern part of the Ivory Coast too, these people share a same relationship, the same culture with people from Burkina Faso. You see what I mean? Like culture is real. Like from Senegal to Mali to Guinea, these people have the same culture. They're all Fulani people. They're all Mandinga people. And that's why I said one time, like when it comes to us Africans, African people don't really identify as their nationality. We identify more as our cultural identity. Like who are your people? What is your people? What's your ethnicity? You know what I mean? Because that really conditions who you truly are. That says a lot about you. You know, that stuff is a fact. You understand what I'm trying to say? You know what I mean? So let's go back to Stephanie Sinclair, whatever, right? So it's that's what she did. Like she was a banker. She ran numbers in Harlem, right? And she had to fight the Irish because the Irish we're not tribal. We're not tribal. We're ethnic. We're not tribes. We're people. That tribe thing is offensive. We are not tribal. If anything, white people are also very tribal too. They only do stuff with white people. These Vikings also are tribal. Nobody ever uses the word tribal when they talk about these Vikings, right? Or these people from Sparta. These are tribal ass people. Oh no, nobody calls them tribal. Oh, they're Vikings. Okay, we are our people. That's just how we do what we do. We're not tribal. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? We're not tribal, right? So it's like when you look at the oppression, when you look at the oppressions of Black people, African Americans in Harlem, that stuff is real. Because not only did they have to fight the dominant Anglo-Saxon, the new whites who came, who are like the Italians, the Jews, right? They also had a harder time because they didn't speak the language. Their culture was different. They were not readily embraced by dominant Anglo-Saxon white culture in America. So in order for them to have some kind of power, they start oppressing Black people. They start oppressing African Americans. And this is where it's going to lead to a Black man who was a Black banker in Harlem. He's going to get kidnapped. He gets kidnapped by a gang of Jews. right? Because a lot of Jews and a lot of Jews in New York at that time, from Brooklyn to Harlem, whatever, were oppressing African Americans. Even the Italians too. The Italians were horrible to African Americans. The Jews were horrible to African Americans. Anybody wants to talk about that? It's real. Like, you can be oppressed in Europe, and when you came here, you became the oppressor. Those truths can also coexist, right? So people like Mom Stephanie Sinclair, and then she's gonna like link up with a man named Bumpy Johnson. Bumpy Johnson is either from North Carolina or South Carolina. He's a country boy. He's a country boy. And when he gets there, he has to deal with some realities. But they kidnapped the black banker. The Jewish boys, the Jewish gang kidnapped the black banker. And the mistake these black people made was to pay the ransom. I think the ransom was like $20,000 or $50,000 at that time. And they paid that within 24 hours. So when they paid it, the Jewish gang was like, oh my gosh, where are these enners getting that kind of money from? Which is when these people are going to start impeding, imposing, and fracting upon the business of Ma'am Stephanie Sinclair and also of Bumpy Johnson. Like, it's really interesting. Like, you have to read it. You have to read it. So it's like, for me, Marlene, I'm like, when you call yourself Harlem, when you want to assimilate yourself with Harlem, associate yourself with Harlem, or like do anything, Harlem this, Harlem Capital, whatever, you have to understand what Harlem really is about. You have to understand what the culture of Harlem really is about and what the spirit of Harlem really is about for Black people. But like I was saying yesterday, that's why I said people who are Black immigrants out here should be charged a tax. They should be taxed. A tax of knowledge and a tax of money to make sure that they truly understand what, like, the price that was paid by these African Americans for you to come here and go to these white people's school, for you to come here and open your little venture capital fund, for you to come here and then that you can go on Twitter and give people sermon and patronize people. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay to call a Black person who has an issue with something that is quite apparent and anti-Semite. It is not okay, because it's the abuse, right? The abuse. Hey, Mariah, you know what I mean? The abuse. That you cannot call, like, the thing about this tribal stuff, we can have a conversation about the tribal stuff, but calling people a tribe is to diminish the right to their land, is to diminish the right to their gold, to their ore, diminish the right to their art, diminish the right to their being. Like, you cannot call, like let's take people like the Yoruba people, right? Within Nigeria has 44 million people. 44 million people who identify as Yoruba. 44 million people is not a tribe. That's not a tribe. That's a nation. Like us right here, like you see you and I, like me plus 46, that's 47, right? Okay, like that's a little tribe. We're a tribe. Like, it's 47 of us. We come with Kiki. That's a tribe. But when you talk about a people who are sitting at 44 million people, they have their own language, whether it is spoken and written. They have their own art. They have their own like system of belief as far as religion and the creation of humanity. They have all of that. They've always had that. You're talking about a people before Jesus. We're talking like 11 BC. These people are carving out like humans out of precious ore. Like, whether it's bronze, whether it's gold, like these people are creative. These people have they have a culture. They are a people. They marry. They have a way of getting rid of the dead. Like, this is not a tribe. This is not a tribe. And the reason why racist white people have always used the word tribe is to diminish the right that people have to their land, diminish the right that people have to their language, to their being. So that way it makes it easier to justify why you're killing them. It makes it easier to justify why you're selling them into slavery. It makes it easier to justify why you are taking all their land. Just like they call Native American tribes. These people, they're not tribes. How can you call 12 million people a tribe? These are nations. Like the Navajos, these were a nation. The Cherokee, they were a nation. They had a language written. You might not like it, fine. You might not respect it, that's okay. But if this is how they put their system in place and they can respect it and they honor it, then it is. Native Americans had a system of spirituality. They had a way of getting rid of the dead. They had a way of celebrating new life, and they had a way of celebrating those who passed. They had a relationship with nature. They had a system of government. You might not respect their feathers, but them having feathers means it is no different than you wearing all this different uniform. Like the feathers that when you see these Indian chiefs with like these feathers mean something. They might not mean anything because you're white or because you're whitewashed. So you are trained to disrespect other people's religion, other people's culture, other people's system of government. No problem. But they had a president. They had somebody, like they had a minister of justice. They had like they had a general. They had colonels. They had their military. These are people. These are nation state. When you look at like even like according to like the Accords of Geneva, even at the United Nations, the way that they describe a nation state, these people are nations. They're nations. But if you call them a tribe, people think it's only like 2 or 4 people. The day I read that it was like 12 million of them, and now they've been reduced to only 500,000. I'm like, wow, this word tribe is to glance over genocide. So if they call you a tribe and they kill you by the millions, nobody really understands the effect of what truly happened. They're not tribes. Native Americans are not tribes. These are nation states. These were nation. Like the Cherokee is a nation. The Navajo is a nation. The Chickasaw, these are people from like Louisiana. Louisiana really belongs to, they're like Chickasaw or Chickasaw. I don't know how to properly say it, but this is a nation. This is their land. It is their nation. They had everything. The same way white people have white Jesus and they have like, oh, religion and all that kind of, they had that stuff too. The same way y'all married, they married too. There's nothing white people had that these people didn't have. Even the Mayan people they were very civilized too. Just because they didn't wear like fancy, stupid ass wigs on their head, does not mean that they're less than. And you gotta be very careful when you use the white man's language to talk about people of color. Because if anybody's tribal out here, it's white people. Because they don't let anybody in. If you don't look like them, move like them, assimilate as them, you don't get in. That's some tribal shit. That's some tribal shit. The people that have the hardest time with diversity is white people. Okay? People have been trying to fight them for 400 years for them to play nice with other people. So if anybody's tribal here, it's them. But they never identify themselves as tribal, though. But they make it harder for anyone to truly enjoy life, period, as it is. But they want to call other people tribal. Anybody out here tribal, sis? These are nation state. Like these are nation. Like even the Ashanti people, they were a kingdom. The Cushites, people from Sudan, these people they had kingdoms. Like these are nation people. But you call people tribes or tribal to render them equal to animals, to disenfranchise them, to remove their land by any means necessary. This is ridiculous. There is so much dehumanizing in the word tribe. These Vikings are tribes. But nobody calls them this though. Oh, why? Because they're their ancestors. Do you know how soccer came to be? Do you know how soccer started? By Vikings beheading people and kicking their heads around as play. That's where soccer comes from. That's the root of soccer. The first soccer ball was a white man's head. Maybe a black person, who knows? So it's like, no, these are nation people. He said, get ready. They're taking up your land again. Wake up. You're so crazy. You see what I'm saying? So that's that. But let me get back to my story, though. Let me get back to my story. You see what I mean? And so it's like, for me, I was really upset for them. I'm like, he's a young black man who went to Harvard. And look at how much little money they have under management. But a Jewish white girl can just go study design at NYU and do some little fashion internship, and boom, people at Sequoia, and you go to Sequoia Capital. I'm not lying. You go to Sequoia Capital, you click on the page that says about us. They're all white men and they're all Jewish. I'm not making this how does that make me anti-Semite? How does that make me anti-Semite? If you notice that Jewish people have a preference for helping Jewish people, that doesn't make you anti-Semite. I've never hurt anybody because they were Jewish. I've never denied anybody anything because they were Jewish. I don't go around oppressing people because they're Jewish. I don't. The majority of the stuff we do, it belongs to Jewish people anyways, and we do business with them. I don't have an issue. But you're not going to try to tell me that I can't say that Jewish people oppress African Americans or black people too, because they did. They did. Italians did too. All them Lucky Luciano people, like the mob in New York, they oppress black people. They would kidnap black people and test drugs on them. The people who brought cocaine to New York, people who brought cocaine to the inner cities, people who brought cocaine to Black people were Italians. Hello? And you can study them. I don't make this stuff up. This stuff is out there. Maybe if you didn't read it, then say you didn't read it. There was a guy, I think his name was like Cordone. He was an Italian gangster. Maybe he was Jewish too, because you could be Jewish and Italian. His name was Cordone something. This man would kidnap Black people, put them, like he would kidnap African Americans, put them in like these weird warehouses, and he would tie them to these beds. And every time he had a supply of drugs, like every time he had a new batch of cocaine and he wanted to try his cocaine, he would give it to the Black people to see how they would react to it. And that's how he would know if his cocaine was good or not. Y'all need to study what Italians did to African Americans, man. I don't make this stuff up. Study what they did to African Americans in New York. Study what happened to African Americans in Harlem. And for as much as like Bumpy Johnson, like, you know, I have a really interesting relationship with Bumpy Johnson. You know what I mean? Because I do realize that he, you know, he was a gangster. Bumpy is a gangster. Bumpy Johnson was known for slitting people. He had a knife and he would slit your throat. That was his thing. He liked to slit people's throat. He liked to slash people in the face. I can't lie. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about Bumpy Johnson, he protected Black people in Harlem. He protected them. Like he was a necessary evil. Because if he hadn't been there, when I tell you these Italians and them people, these Irish and these Italians would have run amok in Harlem. There was nobody, I mean, Malcolm X was there, but Malcolm was not taking weapons. He was talking like, and that's the thing, like, I feel like that's just me. And maybe one day I might turn that into a eyeshadow palette, like a collection. But it's like, there's this interesting need sometimes for evil. You know what I mean? Because Harlem did need someone like Bumpy. Because if Bumpy wasn't there, even Malcolm, a lot of stuff that Malcolm did, he did it because Bumpy was there. Bumpy was with the shits. You know what I mean? And a lot of stuff that Bumpy was able to do because Malcolm also was there with the shits. Like, you know, it's like he was his yin to his yang. Like, it's real. But he was a gangster. But he had to be. Because like I said, back in that time, and even to this day, Black people couldn't call the police. Because the police, and in New York at that time, police in Harlem, any of the boroughs of New York, like the police was full of Irish people who were also not embraced by the Anglo-Saxon. To this day, Great Britain and Ireland are beefing. If you remember growing up in the 90s and stuff like that, there was always like bombs and stuff like that from the Irish people because they were trying to break away from Ireland. So, you know, the same stuff that happens between Great Britain and Ireland, because when you say United Kingdom, it actually means Great Britain and Ireland. The Irish people don't want to be part of Great Britain. And I remember when I was younger, like it was really bad. Like the bombing, the terrorism and stuff like that, it was really bad because the Irish were trying to break away from Great Britain. Because the British tend to be very racist. They tend to be very elitist. They tend to like put their nose down on people. That's really what they do, even to other white people. You know what I'm saying? So that beef that's happening over there, the same beef happens here. That when these Irish people come, even when they come to Ellis Island, they are not treated well. You know what I mean? They're treated horribly. That stuff is real. It's documented. They are treated horribly. But what happens when hurt people is real. So when they finally get out, those who are able to get out and are not shipped back, because, you know, they came here with potato famine. They had worms and all kinds of diseases. So now all of them made it. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No dogs, no Blacks, no Irish. Exactly. So what those Irish people did too, in order to like, you know, have some kind of power and respect, I guess, they decide, well, we're going to oppress Black people too. So everybody seems to oppress them. And it's by oppressing Black people that they kind of regain a bit of their whiteness. Does that make sense? And the Italians did the same thing. The Italians did the same thing, right? Like when you look, for example, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. There's another one too. When you look, for example, at like the Cotton Gin, no, sorry, no, the Cotton Club, right? Which was a famous club in Harlem, right? It was a famous club in Harlem. The Cotton Club was famous. Like that's like the epicenter of the Harlem Renaissance was the Cotton Club. Everybody was there. Duke Ellington was there. Billie Holiday was there. Ella Fitzgerald was there. Your boy Satchmo, Louis Armstrong was there. Like anybody that was anybody at that time was going to the Cotton Club. You understand what I'm saying? But the thing about the Cotton Club is it belonged to a Jewish man. You understand what I'm trying to say? And for as much as he himself, he was getting discriminated by the Anglo-Saxon, he had the audacity to tell the black people who made him money, who were his talent, to go out in the back. Can you imagine? So he comes here, he oppressed, but at the con club, he had sign that says niggas out back. And that's the reality. And I'm like, you're not going to call me anti-Semite because I'm telling you the truth about American history. Maybe you don't know this because like I said, a lot of black people, them West Indian people, them Caribbean people, and even them African people, because I am African, they come to America and they settle, they start living life and they think, oh, you're not trying hard enough. No, you don't know this country's history. Because you're too busy trying to be white adjacent. You're too busy trying to make money as opposed to truly learning the real oppression of African Americans. African Americans got oppressed by everybody. People come here, they start oppressing them because it's a way for them to feel better about themselves. And that's why, and not even just with the Con Club, but even Italians, they were able to own property in New York before black people who've been here since slavery were able to. You understand that? Because at the end of the day, they had at least a skin that white Anglo-Saxons could look, okay, fine, you got white skin. And that's why the Jewish guy was able to own the Con Club. That's why it wasn't a black person, because a black person could never buy a building. You could not buy a building if you were black. And that's why I tell you all the time, if you think that Madam C.J. Walker was the first black woman to be a millionaire in America, you're crazy. If you think that Madam C.J. Walker was like the first black woman to have that fancy car, you're crazy. She was probably the only one that could say it out loud, but she wasn't the first one. There have always been millionaires, African Americans. They just couldn't say it. Because as soon as you say it, they're going to kill you. They're going to, and this is like, and maybe this is why, I do believe that most African Americans are West African, and West Africans do have a love for gold, and, we like that stuff. Like, it is what it is. I do think that most African Americans are Ashanti, like, they're West African, like, dead ass, right? Because they're attracted to gold and diamond. They're attracted to the things that are naturally found in West Africa. From Liberia. From Liberia all the way to Ghana. It starts from 18 karat gold all the way to 24 karat gold. There are diamonds all over the place. There's gold all over the place. So when these African Americans are naturally attracted to these things, it's in their blood. It's genetics. It's in their blood. They're not doing this stuff on purpose. You know what I mean? It's in your blood. It's in your blood. That's why I'm like, it's really important for people to do their ancestry and know who they are. Because it's really important to know that kind of stuff, right? It's important. But the thing is, they couldn't talk about it. They couldn't show it, because you show that stuff, they're going to kill you. And this is something that African Americans have always had to deal with. If I say how much money I have, you're going to end up on a tree somewhere. You know what I mean? There's always been wealthy African Americans. They just couldn't say shit because their life depended on it. Go tell them white people you got $200,000 cash. Look at Black Wall Street. How dare these niggas show off in our face while the rest of the country is suffering? You know what I mean? How dare this nigga gonna drive this car? How dare this nigga gonna buy this house? And that's why, to this day, look at Damon Dash, right? Look at Damon Dash. That's why to this day, black men, these African American people from Harlem have a different kind of mindset. Look at Damon Dash. It's not his fault. It's in his blood. Because the thing about Harlem became its own thing. Like, these black people were self-sufficient. They became self-sufficient. They became their own nation. That's the reality of Harlem. They did not allow themselves to be swayed by white people. They were not impressed by white people. Like Langston Hughes, all these people, child, it's black, it's Harlem. It's Harlem. It's an independent mindset. Is we black, we're of African descent. You're not going to sway us. I want you to go look at pictures of Harlem back in the day. These people are beautiful and they're proud. Harlem was self-sufficient. It was a self-sufficient economy. You didn't have to depend on white people. You didn't have to depend on white stores and white. No. They had everything. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And that made a lot of envy for the Irish. So when they join the police force, they want to rob these black people because they got a badge on. And this is where Madame Stephanie Sinclair, for as much as she was a gangster, Yeah, she was a gangster, all right. She had guns. She used to shoot that man. She sure did. But she told black people about their rights. She told them about unlawful search and seizure. No, this lady is something else, huh? She will go around knocking on black people's door, all kinds of black people, whether you were rich or you was the lady washing clothes. And like she didn't treat people differently because you didn't have money like her. She knew she was rich. But you see, for as much as she knew she was rich, for as much as she knew she was a gangster, she was there to serve her people. She served the community. I'm telling you, she's just like me. She's not African American, but she understands that she's black. She's black. She's African. Like we're all black people, and we're all in this together. And that's why her bank was successful. Because she created a way for black people, for these black people to make extra money. And they trusted her. And what's it called? And Bumpy Johnson was the muscle of her bank. And he took care of her. They took, like, she loved him and he loved her. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know, Bumpy, it's interesting, but Bumpy loved Harlem. He loved the people of Harlem. He fought them. And he was so smart. He maneuvered the Italians because at that time, Lucky Luciano was like the father of the mob, right? And then there was this other Jewish boy named Schultz. That dude was sick. He was sick. And he was in cahoots with the Irish police. They would kidnap black people. They would torture black people. People need to talk about what Jewish people in New York did to African Americans. And that does not make anybody an anti-Semite to hold people accountable. Yes, they went through the Holocaust. Ain't no problem. There's no problem. But when they came to America, though, Jewish people were not kind to African Americans. And that needs to be said. That needs to be said. And they made like, there was one time they even bombed Madame Stephanie's, they bombed Madame Sinclair's house. They bombed her house. They kidnapped Bumpy's cousin and they tortured him. Anybody that was close to Bumpy or that helped the bank, because they knew the bank was making black people rich. So they wanted black people to stop doing their banking with Bumpy and Madame Sinclair and to come do their banking with them. And they would pay them craps on the dollar. They're like, no. So all the black boys, all these little African-American boys who ran number, because you have to go get the numbers. Like if you have a business, a young boy would come in and say, oh, what's your number for the day? And like, so they would go from house to house, business to business, you know, they would go from barbershop to barbershop. They would go get the numbers from black people. You couldn't text it. Somebody had to go get the numbers. And these black boys who would get numbers for these black people to help the bank and win the bank and help the black community, they would disappear. They get kidnapped. They get murdered. Italians are very racist. The Jews also are very racist. The hell? I'm making this shit up. We got to stop being, and that's why, like, to some extent, I'm proud that the Palestinians stood up for themselves. Black people got to be okay with standing up for themselves. It's not just Anglo-Saxons who abuse African-Americans or black people in this country. It's not. And that's a story that needs to be said. It's not okay. And everybody should study Madame Stephanie Sinclair. But like even the Cotton Club. And that's why you see that to this day in entertainment. So many Jewish people are involved in the music industry. So many Jewish people are involved in the entertainment industry. Every time you see a black artist, he got a Jewish manager. Every time you see a black something, they got a Jewish manager. It comes from that era. Because even though they were not liked by Anglo-Saxons, at least they had white skin. So they were able to be the middle person between your black behind and a white person's behind. And they leveraged that. And they leveraged that to create deals that were very unfair towards black people. These people come from Europe, oppressed by Hitler, and they come over here and they oppress African Americans. They take all their they take all their intellectual property. That does not make me an anti-Semite. If I speak on the fact that many Jewish people are wealthy in America because they stole intellectual property from African Americans, it does not make me an anti-Semite. It means I'm knowledgeable. The fuck out of here. The fuck out of here. Being knowledgeable does not make you a hateful person. I don't lie on people. I don't lie on people. The fact that Sam Cooke had a Jewish manager named Klein. That's a Jewish name. Calvin Klein, he's Jewish. That's a Jewish name. The man wanted his masters. He wanted his masters. Clive Davis, what your girl Whitney Houston, Clive Davis is Jewish. They're all Jewish. Do you not see this? They're all Jewish. Frank, like Satchmo, Louis Armstrong. Can you imagine the father of jazz music? He has nothing. He has no estate. Does that make me anti-Semite? To say that, oh, he had a Jewish manager and the man took all his money? All of them had Jewish managers. Billie Holiday, you name it. They all did. And then people died broke. They died on drugs. They died of overdose. How's that okay? And there are people to this day making money off their estate. And these people are Jewish people. That ain't my fault. That ain't my fault. People like to throw labels on you so they can shut you. You cannot shut me up. I'm not a liar. I'm not a liar. And even the things that I say, I never say things from a place of hatred. No, it's a matter of fact situation. Leor Cohen runs Def Jam, and he writes all these crazy contracts. Is it my fault? Did I make that stuff up? That Leor Cohen is responsible for YouTube music, and he decides who gets to make it on YouTube? I made that stuff up too? All these talent agencies, UAE, whatever, that they're ran by Jewish people, and they decide who moves up. And the more degenerate you are, the more you move up. Did I make that stuff up? Diana Ross, her husband, her first daughter is with Berry Gordy. Her husband, I don't think she married Berry Gordy, so I guess she was just a side piece, whatever. So I'm assuming he's her first husband. But that man, Bob Ellis, that's not his full name. It's Bob Ellis something. He's Jewish also. He was a music executive. Diana Ross married a white Jewish man in the music industry because he had the hookup for her career. Am I making this stuff up? I'm not making this stuff up. Like, this stuff is real. This stuff is real. That's why so many Jewish people in America are rich, because they stole intellectual property from African Americans. They stole their music rights. Am I making this stuff up? Am I making this stuff up like Chuck Berry had to fight these people because they stole his music? Am I making the stuff up that Chuck Berry never wanted to do business with them? He never slept in the hotel. He didn't take nothing from these people. Everywhere he went, he slept in his car because he didn't want no problem. And he's probably one of the only people of his generation who died with something to his name. Then am I making this stuff up? Like, don't try that with me. Don't try that with me. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like, you really feel like in America, like you're not allowed to be a voice for African Americans. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Because as soon as you speak up for African Americans, as soon as you speak about Black history, people want to start labeling you all kinds of anti-Semite. Oh, you're a hateful person. Oh, you're a mean person. But they never condemn the people who did those things. They condemn you for speaking the truth. I'm not making this stuff up. The Con Club, the biggest club in Harlem, the biggest club in the world. That Jewish man made so much money. Duke Ellington played there. Do you even know how much he paid him? And that's if he even paid him. Have you ever seen Duke Ellington perform? Do you think it's okay for a Jewish boy to call him a nigga? Make it make sense. Like, it's horrible. It is horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible. And yes, Marlene, I will hold their feet to the fire. There's nothing wrong with being Jewish. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, though, the majority of people who did oppress Black people in Harlem in the 1920s all the way to the day are Jewish people. Yes, there are people of Jewish descent. That's not my fault. Y'all need to check that at your level. It ain't my problem. Even in Brooklyn, a lot of Black people are leaving Brooklyn and it's being taken over by the Jews. I'm not the one. That's not my fault. They don't welcome Black people there. They don't want Black people around them. The meatpacking district, that used to belong to Black people. Soho, it used to belong to African Americans. Did I make this stuff up? Come on now. Because in America, anybody can come here and look down on African Americans. Anybody can come here and bully African Americans. That's the thing to do. Just like in school. Everybody bullies the person that's already being bullied. And that's how they feel good about themselves. Because most people out here is cowards. Do you know what I'm saying? So for this guy from the Bahamas to try to call me an anti-Semite, that's like, yo, fam, you gotta check yourself. Don't you ever dare. And if I ever run into him, it's gonna be a problem. Because you're Bahamian behind with them little itty-bitty islands. And the majority of the islands of the Bahamas right now are being bought by white people. Go fight that struggle. Try to come out here and tell me, I'm fighting for you. I'm trying to say, like, the fact that you went to Harvard and these people only trust you with 40 million. Meanwhile, their little Jewish niece goes to NYU and she moves furniture around and they trusting her with 50 million. That girl, Emily Weiss, she raised $150 million. And you got a bunch of Black people with Harvard degrees. They can't even get white people or Jewish people to trust them with $100 million. Why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me? Because y'all think like the best way to make it with white folks is by kissing their asses and not holding them accountable. You got to hold people accountable. No, they never. And that's the thing about what black people. That's the thing about black people who go to these white institutions. They learn self-hate out there. They do. Because these schools, Harvard, Yale, whatever, these schools are they're the hallmark of racism. They are the hallmark of oppression, making lies up about black people. I told y'all, at Harvard Medical School, they have bones of black people to this day. They have skulls of black people. Harvard is the same school that had books, that had scientific research about why the head of the Negro was so big, and therefore the Negro is not a species that's able and endowed to study mathematics. These people, they're sick. They're sick. They're sick. If you decide to go to a white institution because you feel like that's how you're going to finesse. I ain't going to be mad at you. Do what you got to do. But when you're in there, don't you ever remember you a Negro. You black first, my fam. You black first. You're black first. You're black first. Don't you ever lie to yourself and then because you're close to white people or they answer your emails or they whatever, they didn't like you. Now all they see is a nigga in you. And that's a fact. Don't you ever lie to yourself. You can and that's the thing I wish black people would understand. You can do everything they want to do. You can do everything a white person tells you to do, and you're still not going to be good enough. And you're still not going to get what you deserve. You're still not going to get it. It's always black people who have to work the hardest. It's always black people who have to prove themselves. These artificial prove yourself. Prove yourself for what? For what? And for black people, the carrot always moves. As soon as you move towards the carrot moves away from you. Like it never sits still. It doesn't. And that's my issue once again. When you have black immigrants who come to America, infiltrate African-American community, start taking on the name of African-American people stuff, right? And say, oh, we're going to call ourselves Harlem Capital, but we don't even truly understand the essence of Harlem and what Harlem was about. Harlem is about community. Harlem is about being proud to be black. Harlem is about being woke. They were all woke. Langston Hughes, James Baldwin. I mean, there are so many people. Like, I'm running out of names right now. Like, my head is hurting. That's what Harlem was. It was an insulated black community where everybody was winning. These people, they have money. They have money. They had fashion. They had taste. They had arts. They had culture. It's the Italians and the Jews who brought cocaine. The jealousy. Them people brought the stuff to us. Black people were not involved in drugs, Abby. They were not touching the stuff. They didn't even know nothing about the stuff. And even on top of that, black people didn't even have access to the ports. You were not allowed at the ports. These people were burgeoning, like they were thriving. And these people started bringing the drugs. Now, this is where Bumpy's wrong too, though. But I think the issue with Bumpy was, if I don't do it, if I don't get involved in it, they're going to find a way to sell it to the people. So I might as well control how it comes to Harlem. But these black people were thriving off of their number game. There was no drugs, maybe some alcohol, whatever, but there was no drugs. Then people didn't do that kind of stuff. It's the mob, it's the Italians who sell this stuff to black people. They do that stuff. They start manufacturing all kinds of derivatives of this crap. And they start infecting the black people with it because they couldn't get jobs. Remember, a lot of Italians come here, they're not educated. These people are coming from a place where they grow olives. Like how much they grow olives. Like what's like every time you hear Italy, what you think about? Pizza, okay. Olive oil, okay. Like they didn't come here with a lot. They're farmers. They're not coming here with a lot. They don't have a lot of skill set. They're not employable. You know, I mean, maybe it sounds mean to say it. I don't know. But it's the truth. They're farmers. They're farmers. Even Gucci. Go look up the story of Gucci. He was a farmer. This is what they did. They're farmers. And they're coming into an industrial revolution. They're coming into a country that's very, very industrially advanced. And they don't have enough skill. They know how to raise olive oil. They make the olives. They press the olives. You know what I mean? And then they know how to do cattle. That's why they do so well with leather. But the majority of them are farmers. They're farmers. They're farmers. They're from what they call it. They're from the countryside. You know what I'm saying? They're from the countryside. But today, Italians have been able to rebrand themselves as, you know, luxury, Gucci, Prada, Fendi, Louis, whatever. But it's like, no, These people are farmers. They've always been farmers. So when they come into an industrial economy, they're not adequate. They're not employable. So what do? Crime. They do crime. You think Gotti was educated? Look at his short ass. You know what I'm saying? Even the way he carried himself, he reeks being illiterate. And that's why it hurts me so much. Now, I don't have anything against farmers. None at all. The majority of people in Africa are farmers. You know what I mean? That's where everything started, is from farming. You have to listen to what I'm saying. I didn't say I had an issue with farmers. I said when you come into an industrial economy, because America is way more industrialized in the 20s or whatever than is Italy. You know what I mean? Because they mostly do farming. That's it. So when you come from a farming background to come into a country that has factories and production lines, etc., it's a lot. It's overwhelming. It's a lot. And then on top of that, too, you don't speak the language, so they don't want to hire you. And that's what we have to talk about, too. Like this racist stuff, this racist, xenophobic stuff that comes from the Anglo-Saxon is very hard on a lot of people, not just Black people. They didn't like Italians also. They had names for them also. They didn't want to hire Italians. They didn't want to hire Italians. That's the reality. So what that does is, with their own frustration, the lack of money, and et cetera, a lot of Italians turn into crimes. And who's the best market for them? The people who are already oppressed. The mob is not going after white people. The mob is not going after the white suburbs. The mob goes after Black people. The mob goes after African Americans, because these Italians have recognized that, yo, I might be oppressed, but at least my skin is white. They're black. They've been oppressed. They can call all kinds of niggas left and right. You know what I'm trying to say? Right? And you see it to this day. Look at Mayor Giuliani. He's Italian. Look at the majority of his stances against African Americans. Where do you think he got that shit from? Look at the majority, like de Blasio. Look at the majority. De Blasio didn't even want to admit that there was an issue in New York until his daughter got treated differently for being biracial. Then he woke the fuck up. But look at the majority of Italian politicians in New York. Look at how they treated Black people. I don't make this shit up. And the majority of them are Italian and they're Jewish. I don't make this shit up. White people coming for me. Frisk and stop and frisk. Giuliani, what is he? Italian. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They've always exerted their whiteness by abusing Black people. They're very racist. Even James was watching Soprano, and I was like, damn, I can believe that. It was okay to do Sopranos back in the day. But that Soprano's so racist. The main guy in Soprano, I don't know what his name, the fat one, he's so racist. He does not want his daughter to date a Black guy. You see it in the story, they put it in there that he's racist. Is it Tony Soprano? He's racist. But he wouldn't mind selling crack to Black people though, because that would make him money. Because that's all he sees out of Black people. Crackheads. He sees Tony, yeah. He sees potential client for his poison. But he doesn't want you in his neighborhood. He doesn't want his daughter to date Black people. He does not want his daughter to bring Black people home. And that's the majority of Italians in America. They're racist. They're racist. Yet they come from nothing them damn selves. That's the funny part about these olive oil people. You know what I'm saying? Your ancestry presses olive oil, and you have the audacity to not like people who know how to pick cotton. You better not. You better not. But that's the psychology of many of them. And that is the psychology of many Italians. And that is the inherent psychology of many Italians in New York. This stuff is real. Lucky Luciano was a racist. The whole mob was a racist. He knew what Schultz was doing to these Black people. But as long as he wasn't doing it to his people, it wasn't a problem. Because it was profitable for him. Lucky Luciano ain't shit. Motherfuckers are racist. And that's why, for as much as Bumpy Johnson is a gangster, he is a gangster. Bumpy is a dangerous person. Bumpy slits people's throat now. He was slitting people's throats out here. I ain't gonna lie to you. You get on the wrong side of Bumpy, your throat. Here we go. But it's Bumpy was the only one who stood against the mob. He was the only one who was smart enough to kind of yo, slow down. If you're going to go through Harlem, it has to go through me. It has to go through a Black person. But these Italian people have traumatized African Americans. I'm not making this stuff up. So like him call me an anti-Semite, I didn't know. Like, and it's like, mind you, it's like almost like 2 years, right? And I still haven't digested that. And if I ever see him, it's gonna be a problem. Don't you ever do that. Don't do that. If you're ignorant because you come from the Bahamas, 1, 2, 3, any money, Mo Island, like Lil Duval, that's on you, fam. But some of us are not impressed by whiteness. I'm not impressed by white people. I'm not impressed by their stupid ass Ivy League shit. That shit don't mean shit to me. Because if you go to an Ivy League and you forget that you black and you forget that you have a duty and responsibility to black people, I don't give a fuck. It ain't my problem. It doesn't impress me. Like Harvard doesn't impress me. Because what kind of black people come out of Harvard anyways? What kind of black people come out of Yale anyways? Look at Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas, he went to law school at Harvard, and he hates being black. It goes to show you. It goes to show you what kind of school this is. The more you go there, you relinquish your black pride. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? The more you go to these whitewashed institutions, you relinquish your pride with being black. You look down on your people. That's not okay. That's not okay. I've been to many white institutions. I probably will go to school some more, but I will never let any white person impress me. You're not going to impress me with nothing because the facts are the facts. You hurt my people. Your people hurt my people. Italians use black people as a farm. You guys, you need to look up this one drug dealer. He was part of the mob. His name was like Cordone or Leon or whatever. He would kidnap black people. He would kidnap black women. He would kidnap black men. And he would put them in these weird warehouses in Long Island, God knows where. And they were tied to a bed. They would be tied to a bed. And every time he had a new supply of drugs, he would put it on the black people to see how they would react. This one black person, his arm got this big. I said, Jesus. Nobody wants to talk about the sex trafficking that all these Italian and these Jewish people were running in Harlem, in Brooklyn, in all the black neighborhoods. Talk about that. Talk about that. Talk about that. And sometimes when they felt like it, they would actually kill the black woman because they didn't want to pay her. They will kill you. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how black sex workers were treated by these people. Let's talk about how black women were trafficked by the Italians, the Irish, the Jews, the whatever. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because they're the only ones who get a platform to talk about Hitler and Yom Kippur. Yeah, no, it didn't happen though. But so did what your people did to our people too though. That stuff is real. Black people losing land in New York to Italians and to Jewish and to the Irish is real. It is real. It is very real. A lot of these Italians going into politics and having racist agendas against African Americans. It's real. Even like your boy Cuomo. He's Italian. He's governor. His daddy's Italian. Okay, his daddy was also governor. Look at how these Italian, Jesus, you guys, like I don't even really want to have these conversations, but it's like it seems like y'all not connecting the dots, and it really upsets me. It truly upsets me because you see, for as much as like they come through Ellis Island, they are abused, they're mistreated, they're looked upon, no problem, but because they got the right complexion. They got the right complexion. They are able to experience an amazing form of mobility. The Cuomos, they probably came through Ellis Island too. They probably used to grow olives out there and press olive oil. They probably used to make pizzas. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Their great, whoever the first Cuomo is that came to America was most likely a farmer. But you see, one of his grandson gets to be governor. Then the great-grandson gets to be another governor. Then the other great-grandson gets to be one of the main voice on CNN. Do you see? That's the power of having white skin. And this is the kind of mobility African Americans, even after 400 years, have yet to experience. Does New York have a black governor? No. An Italian, an Irish, a Jewish person is more likely to become governor of New York before an historically black person. And that's problematic to me. And it goes to show you, at the end of the day, even though they might have been oppressed in a certain time, that skin color has allowed them to move up and to now become the people who write the laws and who enforce the laws. Many Italians have been governors in New York, have been mayors in New York, have been senators in New York. And this kind of prominence and this kind of elevation is not readily available for African Americans. And that is problematic. when meanwhile, they are the ones who are building New York. Like African Americans after the war, after the Civil War, the majority of African Americans, they move up to live up north. Chicago, you name it, New York, like all these cities, Baltimore, all these major port cities, Baltimore, New York, etc., Delaware, all these cities are going to be built by these newly freed slaves who fought in the Civil War, can't go home, so now they got to build the North for the Yankees. And that's a thing. Oh, Jesus, oh, Lord, my neck, it hurts. That's the thing. It's like everybody uses them to build. Everybody uses them to build. They were in the South. They built for these white Southerners. They picked their cotton. They picked their sugar cane. They picked their whatever. They do whatever to make these white Southerners rich. When Abraham Lincoln comes in and he acts like he cares about black people, no, he doesn't. He wanted these people to fight for him, and he wanted them to come up north and build for him too. So they go from building the South to then find the war for another white man. You see what I mean? Then they move up north and they start building for those white people who are, those used to be called the Yankees. So you go from building for the white racists in the South to building from the white racists that's a Yankee in the North. They're always building. So even when these Irish people come here, those Jewish people come here, them Italians come here, African Americans have already built a lot of the infrastructure that will help America to become an industrialized nation. And yet, there's not a single ancestor, there's not a single descendant of an African American ancestors who built the North for these Yankees who's able to be governor in New York City. If anything, it's the people who came recently in the 20s by boat, who get to become governors, who get to become mayors, and impose stricter, harsher laws on African Americans, who want to over-police African Americans, who want to lock up African Americans, as opposed to going against the white people who made their life a living hard. But every single portuary city in America has been built by African Americans. Who built Baltimore? African Americans. Who built New York? African Americans. Who built freaking Delaware? African Americans. When you look at all the Great Lakes, you got like 4 or 5 Great Lakes. Everywhere you have a Great Lake, black people build those ports too. Like Michigan, all them places. How you think them people end up in Detroit to create them car shit? Because there is water there. How do you move these? How do you move all these cars when you're done making them? Either by train or by sea. Who was there to do that shit again? African American. In the first steel mill, all the steel, all that shit for Andrew Carnegie. Who's doing that shit for Andrew Carnegie? African Americans. And people come on a boat out here and they land on Plymouth Rock and they start becoming abusers too. And you gonna call me an anti-Semite? Oh, I got time for people today. Don't ever do that. I don't hate people. I hate when people lie. That's my issue. I hate when people don't give black people credit. That's my issue. I hate when people want to tell me that they've worked hard. Motherfucker, you don't work harder than me, bitch. You got the right complexion. Don't you ever forget it. That's it. You don't work harder than anybody. I don't want any white person to ever deceive themselves and think that they work hard. You don't work hard. You're white. You're white. So sit down somewhere. Go sit there. You know what working hard is? They told y'all to sit your asses in your house so people can get the corona. You couldn't even do it. You compare that to prison. You could last out there picking cotton up? You could last in the shoes of a black person for 2 hours? Could you do it? No, you can't. You have no idea what working hard is. You don't know what that is because you never had to. You never had to. Always had somebody do stuff for you. Pick your cotton up, feed your kids, clean your house, clean up your crap. It's always black people. Joe Biden wants to be elected. It's a black woman who's out here registering 1 million people to vote. Why weren't white people in Georgia doing what she did? Because they can't. Because they can't. Because if they could, they would, but they can't. Because they know anyways, even if I don't want to, there's going to be a mammy somewhere who's going to do it for me. Go sit down somewhere. You know about working hard out here? You know about working hard. If you don't stop for a second and gather yourself, gather your privilege, gather yourself together. I don't got time for this stuff. I sure don't have time for this stuff. You see what I mean? So this leads to the conversation that happened today. Sorry, y'all. It took me an hour to give you the background, but backgrounds have to be given. Because we live in a society, everyone's like, make all these short videos. And no, sometimes stuff has to be said, so it takes a minute. So I do apologize, but I'm not really sorry, though, because I have to give you a background to what I'm talking about here. It's really important. So this morning, I get up on Twitter, I get a notification from Twitter, and I see a post from, his name is Pierre, Jacques, whatever. He's like the partner, he's the co-founder of Harlem Capital, right? And then so he said things like, oh, what did he say? It's on the thumbnail. Let me look it up real quick. Let me make sure I say it right. This is what happened, right? So he said, if it's important, you'll find a way. If it's important, you'll find a way. If it's not, you will find an excuse. Find ways for your priorities. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Maybe because I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But it really hit me like, what is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? And so I said, some excuses are valid. Encourage folks, don't shame them. We all have privilege, and that tends to offend our paradigm. If you've been able to find a way, you know what I mean? He's made a way for you. Some are still lost. Pray for them. All this tough love on the internet instead of prayer. Okay? Because this is what we're not going to do. This is what we're not going to do. You know what I mean? Oh, if it's important for you, you'll find a way. Excuse me? If it's important for you, you'll find a way. Or otherwise, you're making excuses. And I get sick, and I'm like, and I cannot, because there's this little community of investors on Twitter, right? And all they do is like their little piss contest. Oh, look, my piss, look how big my penis is. That's all they do. They brag about how much money they have. They brag about their investment. They brag about how smart they are. They're just going there just be braggadocious, just brag and brag and brag. And for white boys to brag, I'm not surprised, because most white boys have a shrimp complex. You know what I'm talking about? So they need to brag, because they can't really brag about what matters about their manhood. So white men always need to brag about other things to feel special. But when I see black guys engaged in this nonsense, when I see black guys, especially people who like African Americans, African, Caribbean, whatever, that you know what the struggle is. Because for you to be who you are today, your parents had to make a lot of sacrifices, I'm pretty sure. You know like what it is out here, right? To see black people go on the internet, on Twitter, and brag like these white kids, to me, it's so nauseating. Because it reeks pick me. It reeks, oh, look, I'm doing what the white. No, find your own swag. Find your own voice. You see? And that's why many times a lot of highly educated black people, the community does not embrace them. Not because they don't know you're smart. They know you're smart, but you're fucking pretentious. You're pretentious. You know what I'm saying? People know, just like Dr. Boyce. Boyce is a smart man. He knows a lot about finance. He really does. But he's pretentious. He's pretentious, he's not relatable, and he's condescending. You see what I mean? Like, and that's why I was telling you one time, one of my little sisters from India, right? Because she's really poor. She grew up really poor. Her family's really poor. But she was fortunate that an Indian man who made a lot of money here, he went back to India and he built a school. So what he does is he takes one child from a family that's really, really poor, just one, and they get free education all the way through college. You know what I mean? And like, it's like now that she's received an education, she has that British, because there are Indians, so she's received the white British education. She constantly looks down on her mother. And I'm like, but do you not realize that had you not been fortunate to experience white privilege, okay, you'll be just like your mom. So don't look down on her. When you're black, let me say this. When you're black and you have the opportunity to finesse in these white institutions, it's not to come out. And that's the issue with Candace Owens. It's not to come out and talk down on black people. It's not to come out and take the stick of white folks and start beating black. Oh, you lazy nigga. Oh, you lazy Negro. Da, da, da. It's not for that. When you get an education around these people, when you have time to be around these people and study these people's ways, right? You're supposed to come here and have empathy for your people. Have mercy for your people. And you see, and even here in America, like when you look at black people who went to a historically black college, and you look at black people who went to a white university, a white prestigious school, a white Ivy League, the traders are usually Negroes from Ivy Leagues. Those are usually the traders, right? Dr. King, where he go to school? Morehouse. Look what he did for black people, right? You look at Malcolm X, where he go to school? The black streets, the streets of Harlem. You see what I mean? The Negroes who spend more time around black people, get their education around black people, spend a lot of time with black people. When they gain understanding of the white man's ways, they serve their people with their knowledge. because now they understand the game. So they come back and they put black people on game like, nah, this is not what you do. This is how you do what you go like this. That's how you're going to win. You see what I'm saying? But you send Negroes to be trained, groomed by white folks. You're going to get you a traitor. You're going to get yourself a traitor. He will talk to you as if he was a white person. And I tell people this all the time. Analyze every single commencement speech Obama gave at a white institution versus a black institution. When he's around white people, when he's called to give these white commencement speeches to them white kids, he is very careful. He's very gentle. He's very supportive. He's very encouraging. But every time he goes to a black school, every time Obama is around black people, he wants to sermonize you, patronize you, tell you to lift yourself up by your own bootstrap, etc., etc. Boy, bye. You're from Kenya. You're from Kenya. You are from Kenya. Like even one of the reasons why he probably even made it to Harvard Law, because his father is an alumni. So somewhere they saw the name like, oh, that must be his son. Does that make sense? There's a boy who was raised by a white woman in Hawaii, grew up in a Muslim country in Indonesia, does not come to America until he's 19. And he wants to give black people lectures about what it is to be black in America. And when I keep telling y'all his skin might be black, but he's not for y'all, y'all don't want to hear me. You don't want to hear me. Because y'all think, oh, if someone got black skin, they automatically are for you, or they automatically understand the struggle, or they automatically gonna fight for you. No, you have to look at how a person is raised. You have to look at how a person is indoctrinated. You have to look at where the person spent most of his or her life. That stuff is real. That stuff is real. I'm like, even when you consider what COVID was for black people, what COVID was for even all of America, but what COVID was for black people, that stuff was hard. It was hard. It was so hard. People are people. Black people are people. Like we have a right to be humans too. Sometimes you're sad and it's okay. Sometimes you want to give up. It's not an excuse. It really is how you truly feel. Black people always have to go hurdle against hurdle, this against this. It's like, yo, does this thing ever end for us? We're constantly having to prove ourselves. It gets tiring. It gets tiring. So if you wake up in the morning and you're able to keep pushing, say, thank you, Jesus. If you're able to wake up in the morning and you are not like distracted by excuses, that you still have it in you, thank the Lord. Because there are other people who can't. And their excuses are valid. And I even sent him an email. I said, you invested in Beauty Bakery, right? Because he invested in Beauty Bakery. He gave her money. His fund gave her money. Well, guess what? Kashmir, she's a single mom. She was a single mom. She is a single mom. I don't think she married, though. Right? She was raising a girl all by herself. And then she had breast cancer. She got over that. And then she got breast cancer again. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what that does to a person? When you think, oh, I'm about to die, then you overcome that. You say, okay, fine. Now it's in remission. It's gone. I can live my life now. And then, nope, it's right back again. So she had a double mastectomy. This is real. And if she wanted to give up, it's an excuse. But it's a valid excuse. It's valid. It's valid. Like black people have the right. Black people have the right. All people, period. But since he's black and we black, let's have the conversation, right? Like black people have the right to have excuses. Because, like, stop it. Some stuff is real. Like, even yesterday, like, I was watching, I don't even know how I ended up there, but I was looking at pictures of King Von when he was a little boy. I don't like the way he turned out, though. But you see pictures of him as a young black boy, it's like, wow, he probably wanted to have his daddy. But, oh, toughen up, toughen up. But sometimes, like, yo, some stuff, it hurts. Certain things, like, it really hurts your soul. It hurts your soul. And what people need, what black people need, is not a bunch of white privileged black people on the internet, on Twitter, who have everything going well for themselves right now to say, oh, you're just making excuses. Yeah, and so what? And so what? You think you're not gonna go through a hard time? Sometimes all you need to be is a village for people. Like, yo, I got you. It's not to shame people for having, like that girl Sha'Carri Richardson, she just lost her mom. And if she didn't want to run, she will be justified not wanting to run. Do you know what I'm saying? She will be justified. It's hard to lose your mom. You only have one mom. And if she didn't have her coach, her grandma, her uncles and aunties, and her whole family and her fans like, no, Sha'Carri, we got you. We got you. She probably wouldn't have ran. She wouldn't have ran because pain is real. Being tired, it's real. Having a mental breakdown, it's real. Depression is real. No, I'm sure. No, I'm sure Von hurt people because hurt people hurt people. But he wasn't born like this. That's the thing. King Von, any of these black kids who end up killing people, end up in the penitentiary for all kinds of crazy crimes. These kids were not born like this. There was a point in time they were babies. There was a point in their life they were innocent until they grew up and realized that something in there was missing. And it's an excuse, but it's real. It's real. And we'll, like, for those of us who always had our daddies, always had our mommies, like, you know what I mean? We are never going to know what it feels to grow up rejected. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. Because I've never grown up. I don't know what it is for your daddy not to look for you. I can talk to my daddy any day. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is to not have a mom that's nice. My mom is nice. But some people, like, they truly don't have that. They don't have that. And they don't even have, like, the emotional support. They don't even have the village to say, you know what? We know your daddy's not here. We know you miss your daddy. But we're going to be there for you. You know what I mean? And I think, like, a lot of black boys who join these gangs and go to prison for these gangs and do all this stuff, they're all bonding over trauma because all of them didn't have fathers. And they look for father figures in the wrong place, in the wrong kind of people. But all this gang activity, all this crime, all this stuff, is a bunch of black boys who are hurting for love, hurting for a father figure, hurting for people to hold them and tell them it's okay. It's okay to be sad that your daddy's not here. It's okay that you feel lonely that your daddy is not here. It's okay to feel like, you know, maybe your daddy doesn't love you and it hurts bad. It hurts really bad. And it's okay that you're hurting. And if you need time off, it's okay. It is okay. It's okay. Like, it's okay, you guys. Like, that's just like, I said all this to finally get to this point, right? You don't always have to go at 100%. And you don't have to be harsh on yourself because you cannot go at 100%. Life is hard, y'all. And that's not an excuse. That's a fact. Life is so hard for black people. Life is so much harder for black people. Like all these artificial hurdles that are just put in place. It's real. And there are days where you're strong enough that you can overcome those hurdles. You can smash them. You can overlook them. But there are days that shit hits your spirit. There are days that really hit you like, damn, I really am black, huh? You know what I mean? There are days that really hits you. I know I've been hit. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, like, just even trying to do this collection, like, from going from pitching to people, getting rejected. It's like, why are you saying no? Like, oh, Martin, you're artistic. I'm like, then why are you saying no then, right? Like, people, and sometimes I feel like because they know it's going to work, and if you might be like a competition to something in their portfolio, so they'll say no to you. But it's like, imagine like having to overcome all the rejection. It's not even about making millions of dollars, babe. I don't really care about that. You know what I mean? It's not even about making millions, because that doesn't buy you happiness. Like, you can make a whole bunch of money and be miserable. That's not that. It's just like when people intentionally deny your existence just because of the color of your skin, that shit hurts. That's it. When you are denied the same praise or accolades or whatever that you honestly would get if you were white, that shit is real. Like, it really hurts. It hurts. It really hurts. And that's what this country does to you. They try to make you bitter. That shit's real. And there are days like, boom, it just hits you like New Orleans humidity in the face. So it's like, have leniency for other people. If you have a business, if your business is going, and the thing is, it's always easy to give advice to people or tell people how they should be doing, how they should be moving, how they should be working harder, right? When they're doing good. You think if his fund was negative right now, he'd be out here talking about this, he'd probably be depressed too, his damn ass. You know what I'm saying? He'd be depressed too. He think he's something special because he went to Harvard. But honestly, he's not doing well his damn self. But he's too busy trying to sermon other people. He's not really doing that good. Because if he was a white boy and he went to Harvard Business School, he'll be at a whole different level. And it's like another people, oh, but you went to Harvard. How come you don't have a $300 million fund? How come you don't have a $1 billion fund? Right? But guess what? For who he is and what he had to ever overcome, he's doing damn well. He's doing pretty well. He's doing pretty well. And that's why it's like you got to be a leader sometimes. All the time. When you're black and you experience black privilege, you have some kind of privilege because you were able to finesse your way around these white folks. You don't get to give sermons to other black people because stuff is real. So if you're doing good, like people say in Arabic, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Okay, if you're doing good, alhamdulillah. Thank God. Don't think because you're special or because you understand what to do and the priorities, boy, bye. Because sometimes life can hit you. What would he do if he had prostate cancer right now? He'd probably be hurt. He'd probably be depressed. And it's okay. And he probably don't want to work. Doesn't mean he doesn't have his priorities straight. He's going through some shit. And people taking time off or people going a little bit slower to figure shit out doesn't mean they don't have their priorities straight. Doesn't mean it's not important to them. There are many people who are in school. It's very important to them. But guess what? They might have to take a semester off to go take care of a sick parent. They might have to take a semester off to go take care of a kid. They might have to take the semester off because they can't afford it. So if you're not helping people, if you're not going to put your money out here and help folks out, keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. Because you're very privileged. You are very privileged. Or at least you have become very privileged. Calling people anti-Semite. That's privilege. This is a joke. This is privilege. That's what I want to say to y'all. That's why I came here today, because I had to check him real quick. I'm like, you're Haitian. Go to Haiti and fix that stuff. No, you sit in America in a black neighborhood built by African Americans. You living a life of privilege. Even you getting into Harvard. You got into Harvard off of the backs of African American. You coming over here as an immigrant. You're just leeching off of people. You're leeching off of people who historically have been oppressed. You leave your little island. You come over here. You leech off these African Americans. You take on their name, Harlem. You name your business after it. Like you down for African Americans, and you out here for the culture and helping people in Harlem. And you have programs in Harlem, and you're helping out the kids in Harlem, and you feeding the hungry in Harlem. You don't know nothing about being in Harlem. Because rich people in Harlem, no, I'm serious. He needs to go to Haiti. Go to Haiti and fix that stuff. Haiti's a hot ass mess. Take your Harvard degree and go fix Haiti. Because even him from Haiti too, and he's light skinned, so you know he's probably related to Papa Duke. You know, like, because in Haiti they have a colorist issue also. They do. Because most of the light skinned biracial Haitians tend to be related to the Duvalier family, like Papa Duke, Bebe Duke, them light skinned people. You know what I'm saying? And they tend to live in the mountains. That's why when you saw all the videos about the earthquake in Haiti, you mostly only saw dark-skinned people, because the light-skinned people live in the mountains. The mixed people live in the mountains. They were protected. Does that make sense? The majority of people in Haiti suffering today are dark-skinned people, and they try really hard. He's from Haiti. Do you know what the GDP of Haiti is? Do you know what the literacy rate of Haiti is? Have you ever listened to the Haitian president? Well, you probably can't because he speaks French and Creole. But I'm like, what the heck? Why don't you go try to fix Haiti since you got all your priorities straight? No, you stay in America where it's comfortable for you. You stay in Harlem where it's comfortable for you, where you get to benefit from the sacrifice and the hard work and the pride of African Americans. You got into Harvard because of African Americans. You're in these schools because of African Americans. Everything you get for your business, or you profit up for your business, whatever, in the eyes of the government, in the eyes of all these white folks, okay, he's black, we're going to help him. Because they assume you're black African American. Haiti's horrible. No offense to my Haitian people, though, but Haiti's not doing well. Haiti's not doing well. So how about you go fix Haiti? Go fix that over there. But I'm like, there are people in Haiti who work really hard, you guys. And that's what you have to understand. For black people, hard work does not translate into just do. Black people work hard all around the world. People wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go work the field until like 6 o'clock at night. And they barely make enough money to feed themselves. But in America, you can be an influencer and you can make what people make in a whole month posting a picture on Instagram. The world is not fair. The world does not bless you based on like productivity. The world does not bless you based on how many hours you put in. That stuff is really hurtful. There are many Haitian people who work really hard. They work very hard. And guess what? At the end of the day, they're lucky if they made $5. They're lucky if they made $5. There's so many Haitian people who don't have running water, but yet the island is surrounded by water. Make it make sense. You know what I mean? You got Kanye West out here going to Haiti trying to help the Haitian folks. But yet you're Haitian, you're on Twitter, you want to give lecture to people about what they do, what they shouldn't do. No, boo-boo. No. Because you don't even have your priorities straight. Because if you're Haitian and you've made it, you have access to money, and you have access to all the rich white people, your priority should be to go fix your home country. Harlem doesn't belong to you. Harlem is not your home. It's for African Americans. Fix your countries. So you can go over there, work from there, and then be on Twitter and say, oh, look at what I've done. You know what I'm saying? Look at what I've done. Okay? Then you can talk to people. Ryla, we're talking about a tweet that happened this morning, baby. We're talking about a tweet that happened this morning from this black guy who's Haitian, right? He's Haitian. He said, you're so evil. He is Haitian, and he has a venture fund called Harlem Capital. Him and his friend, I think, who's from the Bahamas, right? So they're both from the islands, right? And they have a fund in Harlem called Harlem Capital. They live in Harlem. Okay, cool. And I don't even think they invest in black business like that, but whatever. What do I know? Does that make sense? So he posted a tweet today, and he said, like, oh, when you really want something, you'll find a way. Otherwise, it's like you're just making excuses, like you're full of excuses, right? So he's like, fix your priorities in a way. Like very like these black boys who join like the conservative party, like that kind of tease, right? And so I said to him, like, some people have valid excuses. Some people have valid excuses. So if you are able to wake up in the morning and you can find your way and you can keep working and you can keep doing what you do, thank God. Because it's not that you made a way for you, right? It's not a way. It's not a thing that you made a way for you. It's the fact that God made a way for you. Even waking up in the morning, Ryla, and having a sane mind. It's not because you deserve it. Because God saw fit to protect your mindset. But the same way, like I wake up in the morning. I said, oh, I can sit here. I can talk to you guys because nothing bad happened last night. Nothing bad happened last night, you guys. And we thank God. The kids woke up. They were okay. But there are parents who wake up in the morning. The baby's dead in the crib. This stuff is real. This stuff is real. And like, and I honestly feel like the priority for any human being is self-care, honestly. And if you have to put your self-care above everything, yeah, that's a priority. Not everything is like money or working hard, whatever. Just like the girl Naomi Osaka, she's also Haitian. She does way more for him, for Haiti than he does. Okay? She has like a whole tennis club thing in Haiti for the Haitian kids. But Naomi, her mom is Japanese. Her daddy is Haitian. Right? But Naomi withdrew because she's like, I got to protect my mental health. And that's a priority. It's not an excuse. I mean, it could be an excuse, but it's a valid excuse. She is tired. She is drained. This stuff is real. Even really, really smart people, they can burn out. It's real. People have the right. Oh, thank you, Lena. You know what I mean? People have the right to say, I'm tired. And it's okay. And what we should do as a village is recognize, like, yeah, she's tired, but what she was working on, what he's working on is very important. So you get some rest. We're going to keep the torch for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real. We got to stop, like, condemning people. We have to stop shaming people. And I know his tweet was intended at black people. I don't care what y'all say. Because there are not enough black people in this country. There's not enough black men in this country. There are not enough black men who cater to white people, who have the gutspa to talk to white folks. These tweets are meant at black people because the majority of people who follow him are black folks. You know what I mean? Of course he's Haitian. Of course he's light-skinned. I'm telling you, he's probably related to the Duvalier family. He most likely is. He's light-skinned. I'm like, do you not even see how you reap the privilege? You see what I mean? If you ever Papa Duke went and married this white woman or whatever, but Papa Duke is like the first president of Haiti. He is the first Haitian president. He had a thing for white women. He had a thing for biracial light-skinned people. I don't know, either she was white or she was biracial, but she looks white. And then all his kids did the same thing. They went for light-skinned biracial women. And then his grandkids are doing the same. Like, that's what the Duvalier is. Right? And that's why I told you last time, like, Aristide, President Aristide, he's dark-skinned too. He's Catholic, dark-skinned, but he was like the first Haitian president who really cared about dark-skinned black people. He cared about dark-skinned black people. And guess what happened? Bill Clinton, that's why I can't stand Clinton. Bill Clinton came and kidnapped a democratically elected president. He's a very light-skinned boo-boo. That's what I'm trying to tell you. that's that, and they don't like Papa said. She said, "I see why you say that the African American identity must be protected. It must be. Otherwise, you have these new immigrants who come here. They have all these rights, and they think because they're smart, they think because they worked hard, and that's something. This is the pretentiousness. This is the arrogance that I see in a lot of Black immigrants in America. They truly think it's because they work hard, they made it to Harvard. They really think because, oh, I worked so hard, that's why my business is going good. Oh, I worked so hard, that's why I'm able to sell here. Oh, no. You're not that special, boo-boo. Somebody else paid the price for this special that you think you are. You ain't that special. None of your people came here and did the sit-ins with these people. You didn't do the sit-ins. You didn't get arrested. None of your people took a boat or took a flight to say, oh, you know what? I'm going to go to Selma, Alabama and get locked up too. No. We all waited for them to figure shit out, to solve it. We waited for them to get what they wanted out of white folks. Then we started to come here because now it was safe for us. They laid the groundwork, and you have to give them credit for that. Don't you ever think that you work hard. The lies you tell yourself, stop it. Because you can't even imagine the courage it took for them to be. And so sometimes when you see, maybe they're tired. Maybe African Americans are just exhausted. They're tired of fighting. They're tired. Because even me, I will get tired. It's a lot. It is a lot. It is draining. It's draining. But I'm like, even COVID, like this whole thing has been so hard for Black people. It's been so tiring, you guys. Like even me, like with the business, like delays over here, shipping delays over there. Like sometimes I just wish I could just go and do, but because of like the COVID stuff, it's not even easy to travel now. Like it's so hard. Like your girl, I've been very sad, you guys. I've been really sad. Like since 2020, I've had to hype myself up. Marlene, hype yourself up. I have journals upon journal. Like you work out. Like I'm always trying to hype myself up. I'm always trying to be positive. I'm always trying to hype myself up. But some days it gets to you. It really does get to you. How some people are just white and they just get everything. It just gets to you. How some people like just shake their ass. And it's like, boom, the money that you wanted to have, they have it. You see what I mean? It gets to you. It gets to you. It really does. Like, I've been really sad, you guys. Like, I'm telling you, like, the last lab, like, not doing those shadows right, like, it broke me. Do you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, nah, Marlene, you can't let that get to you. Da-da-da-da. But sometimes, like, you don't even want to get out of bed because it's real. Your feelings being hurt, it's real. Realizing, like, yo, like, this country never gonna get better, yo. Like, it's real. You see what I mean? Seeing like it's always people who lie, people who are deceitful, people who are crooked. They're always the one getting ahead. That stuff is real. And it's like, it's not even me. Even King Solomon said the same thing. Like he's like, there's a strange thing going on in this world. Because he didn't understand this stuff too. And it gets to people. You know what I mean? Like you'll wake up some days and you'll be like, but what's the point of doing the right thing? What is the point of doing the right thing? You know what I mean? What's the point of like being a righteous person? What's the point about caring? Because you see all these other people out here, they don't have no decency. They don't care. They'll do anything for money and they get it and they get support and they get praise and they get all this kind of stuff. The world is full of unrighteous people having easy access to the things that you need. It's like the more you want to be a good person, the harder life becomes for you. And that stuff is real. And sometimes what people need, not sometimes, most of the time, what people need, not even just adults, even young people. You know what I mean? We tend to celebrate young people who misbehave. But what about the young people who do the right thing? Why don't we celebrate them too, the way we celebrate these Black kids getting released from prison? Why don't we like worship them and adore them? You know what I mean? Why don't we do that for the Black kids who do the right thing? We don't celebrate people who do the right thing. Oh, well, you're doing the right thing, so why should we praise you? But we're always praising those who misbehave, who act out, who have a bad attitude. You know what I mean? Who's like, and it's like this stuff, it gets to us. If it gets to me, I'm 36, it has to affect the 16-year-old. She's a virgin. Nobody takes her seriously. Nobody takes her like, nobody's praising her. People making fun of her. But the girl that's hoeing in the school, people respect her. You know what I mean? What about a young black boy who is currently studying? He's not in no trouble. He's not trying to create no harm. He does the right thing. He's very respectful. There's no praise for him. There's no celebration for him. But the boy who kills his friends at school, he gets all kinds of fames and credibility and prop. Like, this is ridiculous. And like this stuff, like, it really affects people's psyche. And sometimes people are sad. Sometimes people are tired. People are sad. Sometimes even a strong person is weak. Sometimes, like, even like a strong person, you want to give up too. Even a person of faith, you can love God, and sometimes your faith is just running on empty. And this stuff is real. It's real. The world is very mean. People are very mean. And even us also, black people, because we've been so hurt, we've been conditioned also to be mean to each other. Sometimes, like, this place can feel very lonely. And we have to encourage people. Like, I see you. You know what I mean? Not every day is going to be 100%. Not every exam you're going to get an A. And it's okay. You're a person. It's not because you don't have your priorities straight. You're a human too. We can't do everything right brain all the time. Sometimes we got to go for the left side of the brain, or like whatever side the brain is. We got to switch the brain and be like, yo, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay that racism gets to you. It's okay. Do you know what I mean? It was really hard for me, like doing the science stuff. It was really hard, you guys. It was really hard because there are so many times I felt inadequate. Like, it was so horrible, you guys. Like, there were days like you would see me outside, like I would just be on the benches crying, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why is it like my brain is not picking this stuff up? Like, you guys, it was really hard. It was really hard. Like, Martin, I've been through this. I don't know if because I was like born on a Saturday, so it's like born on a Saturday, like, so stuff is just so fucking hard for me all the time. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's been hard. It's been so hard. It's been so hard. And it's like you feel to the point like it's unnecessarily hard. You know what I'm saying? And so some days you're not going to be at 100% because there's a whole lot of mental stuff that it's affecting you because you're a human. It affects you. It affects you. You know what I mean? But black people are not supposed to say, well, it's affecting me. No, it affects me. It affects us. It affects all of us. And we react differently. Some people get violent. People get loud. Some people they shut in. You know, people react. We all react differently to that stuff because it's real. No, it's real, James. Like, it's real. And I'm sure you've been through that too. Like, you're going through a divorce, whatever. You've been through a divorce. It's hard. It's hard. I didn't go through with it, but I went through it. You know what I'm saying? But it's really hard. Like, who gets married to get divorced? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean? Like, am I useless? Was that not good enough? Like, that stuff is hard. And there are days it's going to hit you. And you're not going to want to get out of bed. But it doesn't mean you don't have priorities. It doesn't mean you don't know what you want. It's just hard. And right now, I just need to cry. I just need to be in my bed. Leave me the hell alone. And it's okay. And what people should go, you should have been here by now. Well, if you really wanted this, no. Because all this shit don't really matter anyways. Doesn't really matter anyways. What matters is your mental health. Like, what matters is like your peace with yourself. What matters is that you treat yourself with kindness. That you take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, people. Do things in your own time. You know what I mean? And when it happens, it happens. Don't punish yourself. Don't be overly harsh on yourself. Nobody tells white people to work this hard. Nobody tells white people that they constantly have to sacrifice their health to get ahead in the work life. No. Nobody tells white people that they have to sacrifice life balance for career. And it's always black people who are always encouraged to always live dysfunctionally. And that's why we struggle with our appetite. That's why we struggle with our diet. That's why we struggle with obesity. Because we're not living in harmony with ourselves. So you're always eating on the go. You're always eating like in weird places. Can't even sit down and have a proper meal and digest your food. Like, this stuff is crazy. This stuff is crazy, y'all. It's real. It's real. This stuff is real. Like, it gets to you. You know what I mean? Now, we just thank God that it doesn't get to you as much as it would. But sometimes, like, stuff, it really gets to people. It truly gets to people. You know what I mean? And so it's like, if you are in a place, if you're in a season where you're successful, if you are in a season that Yeah, you know, Ron said, I feel love you, love. Depression after the death of my friend knocked me down. You know, my faith was shaken. And I'm thankful for my pastor because he was the one who recommended therapy to me. You see, it's not she didn't know her priorities. But I tell you, like sometimes, like life will hit you when you open your. Just like when I opened the door yesterday, the way the humidity hit me, I said, "Oh wow, this is real," you know. And one thing that shook me also in Columbus was like, yo, bad things happen to good people too, and that stuff hurts. Like people don't talk about that, but you can be heartbroken in your faith. Not because God wants to break your heart, but sometimes even not having like the proper perspective on a problem, even not having like the proper perspective on the prayer not being answered, you know what I mean? Or delays and stuff like that. Like that stuff can break your heart. Like, God, I'm here. I'm always here. Like, I do everything you want me to do. Like, I stay away from evil. Like, I do everything. Why are you not looking at me too? You see what I'm saying? You see? Like, this stuff is real. Like, what if for Ryla, you know, because sometimes in life, your best friend could become your sister. You know, some people didn't grow up in families where they had multiple siblings. Maybe she's the only child. We don't know. Right? Some people also, the way the dynamic was, they didn't get to grow up with their siblings. You know, some people have to grow up in foster care. They don't get to, and if you got too many kids, sometimes one person can't take all the kids. You know what I mean? We don't know. But sometimes, even the Bible says that a friend becomes more than a brother in a time of need. What if, like, for her best friend was like her sister? What if her best friend was her anchor? And all of a sudden, that person is just gone. That stuff is real. That stuff is real. And it really affects people. It truly affects people. Like, people are people too. You know what I mean? People are people too. And like in this country we live in, because of the love of money, people are never encouraged, motivated to take care of their spiritual, like your spiritual person, your soul person, your spirit person. It's always about the body, what the flesh. No, because if your mind doesn't want to follow your body, it's a problem. Like for real. If your soul doesn't want to follow the body, it's a problem. So we have to put an emphasis on, you have to be well-rounded. Like you have to be aligned. You know what I'm saying? But spiritually, you guys, we take a lot of hits. We might not realize it. But every time, yeah, you see, now, Deborah said, nope, here in the state you work to live. And then the thing is, when you really think about it, Deborah, what life are we really living? What life are we really living? Like that shit is like, that's the real question. Like, what life are we really living? A life of stress, self-denial, abuse, trauma, you know? You might not realize it, guys, but all these images we see of Black violence, it affects us because your subconscious picks up on that. You might act like, oh, it doesn't affect me. It affects you. It affects you. Trust me. Because one day you're going to see one image and you're going to lose it. Either you're gonna start cussing out people, or you're just gonna start crying. Like, and that's where I go. Like, that's why sometimes I try not to watch this stuff because I know it affects me. Sometimes I just sit there quietly. I look at it, but it affects me. All this stuff is terrorism. Like they put this stuff on TV to affect your psychology. You know what I mean? They do this stuff intentionally. They want you to see that the bodies of Black people are nothing. That stuff is that you cannot tell me, like, you can't tell me that white America does not use TV, social media, and all these like visual devices to send a clear message that we can kill you and nothing's going to happen. Don't you ever think you're so powerful that we can't humble you real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it affects us. It truly does affect us. You know what I'm saying? It affects us. It affects all of us. We are affected. And we react to different ways because sometimes your reaction is lagging, just like the speed, like the sound of speed, right? You might see something on Wednesday about a Black person and you don't react. You're like very stoic. It might be in 1 month, like a month later, it might take you 30 days, delayed reaction. And then something small is going to happen and you're going to lose it. Nothing really big happened the day you lose it. It was there the whole time. You just I'm like, your subconscious picks it up. Your brain never turns off. Even when you're asleep, you pick up information. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, you just have to, like, we all have to learn to be kinder to ourselves and to be kinder to other people. Because even sometimes what you might consider, no, here the young people out here are crazy, killing and stuff like that. Once again, it's lack of direction, it's lack of love, right? But it's like sometimes, you guys, even it might not mean a lot to you. It might not mean a lot to you, right? But I'm trying to tell you, like, sometimes even a person getting out of bed is an act of victory. To you, it's nothing because life is good for you. So you just wake up out of bed, you just and out of bed. It's not a big deal to you. But for some people, even getting up out of bed, taking a shower, and brushing their teeth, it's an amazing act of victory. Because let the devil tell it, they should have been dead, or they should have been in a crazy house, or they should have committed suicide. You know what I mean? Some people are so spiritually afflicted that when they tell you, hey, Marlene, today I was able to brush my teeth, they're like, oh, that's it. Like, oh, girl, thank the Lord. We thank God. Look at God. Won't he do it? There are people, even them, like going outside is an act of victory because the oppression is so real. Do you know what I mean? You know, it is so real. You know, sometimes standing, like the Bible says, like, after having done all that there is to do, stand therefore. Because sometimes just standing is an act of bravery. Because on the inside of you, you just want to go hide somewhere in a hole and never come out. So just the ability that you have to just stand after having all that there is to do, after the devil has deployed all his arsenal on you. Oh, spiritual affliction is real. I've been there. Spiritual affliction is real. And when you find people spiritually afflicted, don't be like the friends of Job who judged him at his worst. And that's why God punished them too. And he told them they had to give Job the double portion. When you find people at their lowest, don't judge them. Don't say, oh, you could have, should have, would have been. No, because you don't even know. You don't even know what it took for that person to not end their life last night. You don't know what people be going through, y'all. And that's why I said to me, I find it quite disgusting that Black boys who come from Caribbeans and whatever get on Twitter because now they got a little bit of money and some Harvard education, and they want to start talking to people in a certain kind of way like the white people do. Let white people do that patronizing stuff. That's what they do. They live in a life of privilege. You know better. You know better. It's this toxic mindset that we have, that Black people are not allowed to honor their feelings. They're not allowed to honor their emotions. That girl, Sha'Carri Richardson, she's hurting. She's hurting. She lost her mommy. She's hurting. She's hurting. And we have to stop normalizing people showing up even when they're hurting. Just like I hate those images when you see like these Black girls having babies. Right after you push the baby out, you're taking your final. Why? They would have made special conditions for the white girl. Do you ever see white girls in the delivery room worrying about an exam? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Do you ever see white girls in the delivery room having to worry about their exams, having to worry about their finals, having to prove that they can give birth to a baby and complete? That shit isn't that serious. The dean can make a special provision for you. And if you don't want to, take it to the president's office. And if they don't want to, you sue them for discrimination. You're having a baby. The final can wait. Okay? They can make a whole new final for you. It ain't that deep. I'm like, you're having a baby. Why are you pressed to take an exam? Why are you pressed to do a final? And it's only Black girls who do that stuff. And like, oh, look at her. Look at her. It's not okay. Pregnancy is traumatic. I could even imagine the labor part. It makes you want to kill yourself. The epidural, even when they give you the epidural, you still feel the pain. You still feel the pressure. It's torture. It is torture. You know what I'm trying to say? They're giving a baby, breastfeeding the baby like you're tired. Who wants to go through all of that and then have to take a final exam? You are exhausted. You are exhausted. Yeah, she said one thing I've learned and witnessed about white people, they could hate one another, but there's that invisible, unspoken line of respect for their own. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm like, you're having a baby. Most of these people have had a child before. They know that stuff is really painful. But it's like, no, we want to normalize Black girls giving birth and then turning right around and taking a final. Once again, Black people don't feel pain. You see, and I'm like, and you wonder why these doctors don't take it seriously. Because we're the ones who go on the internet and post about, oh, look, I just had a baby and I turned around and did a final. So you must not be in pain. Because most people can't do that kind of stuff. And it's okay. The final can wait. And they want to fail you because you had to give life. Okay, sue them. I bet you they won't. I bet you they won't. You know what I mean? Yeah. Always trying to act like when you're Black, you're supposed to be a superhuman. Oh, you work hard. And no matter what they do, how they kick you, hurt you, deny you, degrade you, you're supposed to have a smile on your face and keep working harder. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, and no, and no, and no. I'm human. I'm human. Black people are human. And sometimes Black people also get sad. And sometimes Black people also want to cry. And it's perfectly okay. It's okay. This stuff, it gets to you. Exactly. And I'm like, you wonder why these doctors, when you say you're hurting, they don't take you seriously. When you say, oh, I have this pain, don't take you seriously. Because they see on the internet. Black women have babies, and then within 5 minutes, she's taking a final exam. You're okay. That's not normal. And even like doctors shouldn't even allow that. They should write to the school like, no, she needs to rest. Her body needs to recover. What the heck? She can take the final later, or she can take another final. It's not that deep. She ain't going nowhere. What's so special about this final? What's so special about it? And I had this issue with this white professor at Mason. She was white. And mind you, this was a white girl. Once again, white woman. Because it was my computer coding class, right? It was like, I think it was like C++. And so like the day of like, we had a project due or something. I was like, yo, I'm going to be in labor. I'm not going to be able to submit it because I might be pushing the baby. And the bitch looked confused. And mind you, this hoe was trying to adopt a baby. I'm like, what the freak? You want to adopt a baby, but you don't understand what. I'm like, what the hell is this stuff, man? Then it's like, I think eventually it clicked to her. Oh, wow, she's having a baby. I'm like, what the heck? What is wrong with these people? What? And you'll see that a lot with many white women in the sciences. Like these white female professors, they love to be stuck on stupid. They love to be stuck on stupid. I'm telling you, you always have to fight these people. Like, it's ridiculous. Someone, like, the day we got to turn this in, I will be in labor. Trick, what do you want me to do? Tell him to wait so I can turn your assignment in? Are you dumb? But it got through, because I tell you, if it didn't get through, me and my family would have sued that school. We would have sued her, and we would have sued the department. This is ridiculous. Of course they are. I'm like, what is wrong with this chick? Can you imagine, like, anybody, oh, okay, go have the baby and then submit that later. It's not a big deal. Like, just make sure you're safe, right? It's an assignment. It can wait. It's a project. Whoop-de-whoop-de-doo-doo. It's not that big, girl. It's not that deep. But let's just like, oh, but you should turn it. Like, no, you still got to turn it in. I'm not, and she went to UVA also, right? This white girl, she went to UVA. She's probably still a Mason. But then when she adopted a baby, she's like, oh my gosh, I adopted a baby. I'm like, ooh, I feel bad for this baby child. I feel bad for her. Because you have no clue what it is to be maternal. I couldn't imagine like being a professor and another girl comes to me like, oh, Professor Marlene, I'm like, the day the assignment is due or the day the final is due, I'm going to have a baby. I said, oh, you still got to turn it in. Girl, take your time. Turn that shit in when you can. Go give birth. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can die. And that's like, it didn't even register with this white chick. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? I looked at her like, girl. Then I like later on it clicked. She's like, oh, it's okay. You can turn it in later. I said, bitch, I was going to turn it whenever I was going to turn it in. And I bet you you're going to be okay with it. You know what I mean? But I could never imagine that. Like, even in my business, like in any capacity, like if a woman has to give birth, like that stuff is so painful. The last thing I want you to think about is my assignment. Girl, it ain't that deep. Go have your baby. Be safe. I pray for you. I pray for the baby. I pray for your family. May you have a safe pregnancy. May you have a beautiful baby, right? Whenever you come back, we can handle that. Even if I might not take this project, I can give you another project to do, but we're going to figure it out. But most importantly right now, it's your health. It's the baby. Go have the baby and be safe. These white feminists, they're dangerous. Like, they're really, they can be very dangerous. They have like these, they can be a bunch of weirdos. And I encountered many of these white women like that, those kind of white feminist scientific women in these departments, like they're dangerous. They are dangerous. It's like they hate you for having a family, or they hate you for wanting to have kids. Bunch of weirdos. You know what I mean? Bunch of weirdos. Bunch of weirdos, y'all. I'm glad I did this video early, so now I'm like, now I can be done for the day, right? Oh, this feminism we live here in America is rooted in white supremacy. Okay, they only want like to have extra bodies so that it makes the movement more powerful, but they don't care about black women. They do not care about black women. They care about their whiteness, and what they want is white women. That's it. And then they want you to just come and be like an extra. They want to have more bodies. So it is a democracy, right? You need a lot of people to agree with you for you to get what you want. You guys know what I'm trying to say, right? But it's like, my thing is like black women, black man, black daughter, black son, black niece, black nephew, all my black people, black girl, black boys, right? I want you to know that it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's okay to have setbacks. It's okay to go at a slower pace sometimes. It is okay to honor and to recognize what you're feeling on the inside. It is okay. It is okay. Life is hard. You know what I'm saying? Life is hard. And you have to learn to be merciful. You have to learn to have mercy on yourselves. Be kind to yourselves. It doesn't mean you don't have priority, but your main priority should always be self-care. Protect yourself. Protect your mind. Protect your health. Protect your mindset. Because if you have a nervous breakdown, it's really bad. It's really hard to recover from a nervous breakdown. I've been there. But like if you go through a burnout, it is really hard to recover from you know what I mean? It is very hard. It is very hard to recover from a nervous breakdown. So do not get there. If you have to stop doing other things so you can prioritize your mental health to avoid a burnout or to avoid like a nervous breakdown, please do it. It is so hard to overcome depression. It is so hard to overcome a burnout. It is so hard to overcome a nervous breakdown. I'm telling you, prioritize taking care of yourself. Those things can wait. Okay? Like Jesus told Matthew, let the dead worry about the dead. Okay? Even Jesus was not out here trying to save everybody, because he had to take care of himself too. And you recognize, like in the Bible, every time Jesus did a big miracle or he prayed for people, he always took time to himself. Jesus always took time to himself. Even when he told the apostles, oh, go before me, he would stay behind and pray. He would gather himself. Even before they came to take him, to crucify him, he took time by himself in the garden. And he cried there. He cried. And the Bible said he cried so much that his tears were turned into blood. Drops of blood. Because that's how sad he was. That's how sad he was. Because he felt like it was unfair. So even Jesus felt like it was unfair. He had to reckon with his own humanity. He had to reckon with his own emotions. But then ultimately he said, let not my will, but thy will be done. And sometimes, y'all, the will of the Lord is heavy. Okay? Sometimes the things that God calls us to do is hard. You know what I mean? You know? Sometimes like the will of God for us is hard. Sometimes your destiny is heavy. It's heavy. And sometimes like you're all by yourself having to carry that. And it's a lot. You know, you have people like all their lives, they have to take care of other people. They never got to be selfish. Oh, I just want to go to this college. I want to go live this way. I want to go spend my money that way. You know, they've always provided for other people. They've always had to take care of other people. They've always had to put other people first. And today they're tired, and it's okay. But maybe instead of judging them, maybe it's time for us to give back to them. Like, you know what? I've recognized that you were always there for me. You know, a lot of our mothers are tired. You know what I mean? A lot of mothers are tired. A lot of black grandmothers, they're exhausted. A lot of black mothers are tired. Don't be mean to her or condemn her or be harsh because you changed. She's tired. Of course she changed. Maybe it is time for you to take over. Instead of always asking and taking, maybe it's time for you to start giving. Maybe it's time for you to start doing for your mom what she always did for you because she's tired. People are tired. People get tired. We get tired. People get tired of being polite and getting nothing in return. People get tired of doing all this respectability politics and getting nothing in return. People get tired. We're tired out here. People are tired. People are exhausted. People's feet, they hurt. You know what I mean? Sometimes also like holler at your parents. Oh, mom, here, mommy, go to the spot real quick. You know what I mean? Sometimes like holler at your parents. Oh, mommy and daddy, I booked you something at a restaurant because they're tired too. They're people too. And just because they did a good job to hide the stress they had to go through, hide all the money problems from you, and give you a beautiful childhood, does not mean they're not tired. They're tired. And you should have enough sense to know, maybe I should do something for my mom. Maybe I should do something for my dad. Maybe I should treat them to a vacation. Maybe, you know what? Instead of spending so much money on myself, let me do something for my mom and my dad also. Maybe every month, send money to your parents. They don't have to ask for it. Just do it. You don't know. They might need it. Who don't need money? Even if it's to splurge. Send your mom money so she can splurge on your money. You splurge on her money. You see what I mean? People be tired sometimes. Husbands be tired sometimes. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress to be the head of a household. It's exhausting. Wives also are tired sometimes. You know what I mean? And we have to learn to, like, in kindness and in love, like, take over for each other. We have to learn in kindness and in love to motivate people and to encourage people. You know, sometimes people are tired. And it does not mean they don't have their priorities straight. If anything, sometimes your priorities can be the reason why you're so damn tired. Because if you didn't have priorities, maybe you'd be a bit more free. Maybe you have a bit more peace, right? But it's like this stuff is real. It's not like me, Mark. I've been sad, y'all. I've been really sad, and I've been trying to like keep my motivation. Like, I'm not gonna let it affect me like I was last time. I'm trying to see like the good things. Like, you know, at least it wasn't like that many pieces that were messed up. Da, 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 da. I'm looking at all the good things, right? But it's like it's a lot, you guys. It's a lot. It is a lot. You know what I mean? Being like, hey, Nikki. Nikki said, Rachel said, I've been listening, man. I'm tired, on the brink of exhaustion. Yes, maybe you need to pipe down. Take some things off your plate. It's okay, Rachel. It's okay. Even Superman, there are days he was saying, even Superman had a weakness, kryptonite. We all have something that really is like, wow, I really feel defeated. It's okay. Even David, there are times where David went from killing Goliath to like being defeated at times, right? You can slay a giant and the next week you're sad. You know what I mean? Like the prophet Elijah, you know, he did something amazing in front of all the prophets of Baal. And because of that, like they had to kill like 400 prophets of Baal or whatever. But even after that, as soon as, what's that girl's name? Jezebel. So I'm going to cut your throat. He ran for his life. It's like, wow, this man he just made fire fall down from heaven. And now he's running. Why are you running? Kill that bitch, right? But he ran too. You know what I mean? He ran too. Elijah ran. But he's such a powerful prophet, but he ran. Because, yeah, he's human too. He's human. The girl said she's going to cut off his neck. And maybe that day he was like, oh, I'm tired. So he ran. He ran. He ran into a hole. And then God said, Elijah, where are you? He said, I was scared. God said, why are you scared? He said, because she said she's going to cut off my neck. And God then said, oh, I command you right now. You must come out of this hole. God said, okay, since you're scared and you're hurt, stay here for a second. He said, stay here. But when the time comes, I will send a crow. He didn't tell him to come out because he recognized he was tired. So he said, fine. If you need your own space for a moment, just stay up in there. You know what I mean? So he let him stay. He didn't say, oh, I'm God and I command you right now. Come out. Have your priorities straight. Because if you don't come out, thou is not a servant of the Most High God. No. He said, cool, stay in there. And when the time comes, I'll bring a crow to feed you. And he did. Because he knew the man needed a break. He was tired. He was exhausted. He was exhausted. But then when the time came, the crow came, his spirit was up higher. So then God said, okay, you can't stay here. You have to move to Zarephath. He said, oh, but there's some famine there. And then God said, don't worry about it. I got somebody to hook you up. So he goes to Zarephath, and that's where he meets the widow. And that widow too, she was tired. She was tired. They were both tired. You know, like, because Elijah, his anointing is real. He is a powerful prophet. But you notice that people who are really anointed, they suffer a lot. It's hard. This world is really heavy on people who are spiritually woke. Even me, like, it's really hard. It's hard. When you're too woke, like when you're too spiritually anointed sometimes, it's hard. Because you, like, it's hard for you to go with the foolishness. So you see right through the BS, and that makes it hard for you. It's hard. It's hard. But he was tired because his anointing was heavy for him. And then she was tired. She was tired of the famine. She was tired of doing everything by herself. She was tired of not having a husband. She was tired of feeding this baby. She was tired of having to worry about food. She was tired. She wanted to end her life. And you can't judge her. She was tired. This stuff is real. This is real. Sometimes people are hopeless and hopeless. I ain't lying. Try to knock me off. Keep trying. All it takes is one phone call to my street team. Promote that ass like a soundtrack. You Jacques. Shout out to Lil Cam. Ladies' night. Okay. She was tired. Okay. And with no coins. Hopeless and hopeless. And I ain't lying. Trying to knock me off. Keep trying. All it takes is one phone call to my street team. Promote that ass like a soundtrack. New Jack City. Y'all didn't know. Y'all don't know about me. Don't try me. Don't try your little friends. Don't try me. Go play with your mammy. Don't try me. Y'all know about me. You know what I'm saying? But she was tired. She was tired. Everybody's dying around you. Poverty everywhere. Nothing's getting better. People get tired. She's like, you know what? I'm going to make this one good piece of bread. Okay, I'm going to make this one piece of bread. We're going to eat it, and then we're going to die. Because she made peace with it. Yeah. Oh, Trini, I'm sorry, my love. I love you, sis. I get it, boo. I get you. It's just a lot. And these kids, they eat 16, 12, 9. Can you imagine? They eat. They use your data. They use your data. Huh? Rachel says she lost her mom in April. I'm so sorry, Rachel. You know what I mean? You know, people are tired. The widow, she made peace with it, y'all. She made peace with it. It's not going to get better. It hasn't gotten better. And it might never get better. So let us fill up our bellies. Let's drink until we're married. And then let's just die. Let's just get out of here. And so Elijah comes into her life. He's also sad. But he says to her, oh, can you feed me? She's like, hold up, wait a minute. I need my belly full before I take my life. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it was. She wanted to die on a full stomach. He's like, no, if you give me food, I promise you, you'll never go without liking. It's like, I don't know about that. Because I've been lacking for a minute. And that stuff is real, y'all. That stuff is real. Life is real, y'all. Can we have an honest conversation this morning? Sometimes it's real. Sometimes you've been living paycheck to paycheck for 10 years. And somebody says to you, oh, if you pay your tithes or if you give me an offering, you're not going to suffer no more. Like, boy, you mean to tell me I'm going to get, what's so special about your ass? That if I give you my money, everything I've been going through for the past 10 years is just gonna stop. Lord have the mercy. This man is a lying ass heifer. But she was like, well, I'm gonna die either way, so I guess I'm gonna give you the bread. Because I'm like, this lady didn't even believe in him. She just was like, you know, whatever, let me just die. Like, she just wanted to get the shit over with. Like, here you go. But then miraculously, oh my gosh, it is the truth. Oh, my problem. You finally get that one phone call you've been waiting for. Oh, Jesus. You see what I mean? You finally get the money you've been waiting for. Oh, Jesus. Oh, you know what I mean? Not the banger. He's a real prophet. Woo! Let me give you some more bread. How about that? Let me give you more bread. Do you want some water? Do you want some soup? Do you want a wife? How about that? You know what I mean? But it's like it's hard. Like if you've been suffering all your life, if you've been suffering for a season, and it's like that season, it's like it never ends. You know what I mean? It's hard to believe, like, because you get to a place like you've made peace with suffering. You know what I'm saying? What y'all say? Y'all say a bunch of stuff. Let me show y'all stuff real quick. She said, no, Elena said, thank you for all your wisdom. It helped me to change my life. I used to be the person who friends came to for a bunch of advice. They wore me out spiritually and emotionally. I'm done. Deb said, yes, it is. Yes, the money call. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But it was true. Like, he really, like, he delivered on his promise. But it's very hard sometimes when you've been living paycheck to paycheck, when you've been living struggle to struggle, when you've carried something so heavy by yourself. It's really hard to believe, like, oh, so you mean to tell me if I give my life to Jesus, my trouble's gonna go away? You're like, Chad, that sounds extreme. You know what I mean? I was born a day, but I was a boy yesterday. Does that make sense? Like, it's because you're so used to struggling. You're so used to things being hard for you. You're so used to, like, always getting rejection, right? You're so used to, like, people looking down on you. Like, it's real. That's why I don't even know how Kathy Hughes did it, because I'm like, me, Marlene, 3 people say no to me. I'm already trying to cry. Kathy Hughes went, like, to number 31. I'm like, you better go ahead, sis. You better go ahead, right? But it's like, it's real. You know what I'm saying? It's real. It's real to feel like, it's real to be hopeless. It's hopeless. I ain't lying. You know what I mean? It's real to be, pessimistic. It's real to be like, I don't really believe that, because all you've known is darkness. All you've known is doing it all by yourself. All you've known is, if you don't come up with a solution, nothing's going to get done, right? If you don't come up with the money, things are going to be taken away. Like, it's real. It's real. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like, we give up hope. We give up hope, and we can't judge people. We have to pray for them, because it's real. And the devil can put you in such a pit sometimes, and he can leave you there, just like Joseph. You know what I mean? A prison, something you didn't even do, and you're thinking, like, okay, maybe it's a mistake. They're gonna come let me out, but then it's like, it's a month, then it's 2 months. You know what I mean? Then it's like a year. It's like, oh, this stuff is real. They're not gonna come get me. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking, like, no, Potiphar gonna calm down and he gonna know I would never do that. Then it's 2 years. You're like, oh, he's still mad? He's still believing her? Then 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. You're like, huh? Hey, my daddy could be dead. Oh, do people even know I'm here? Then it's 9. Then it's 10. I'm sure Joseph felt abandoned also. And we don't explore that psychology, but I'm sure he felt abandoned. And even when he was doing the dream stuff, he told the guy, don't forget me, because he gave him the meaning. He's like, oh, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. You're going to be a bread bearer for the king, for the Pharaoh. Like, please don't forget me. Please tell him about me. Child, that man went ahead and forgot all about how many people you've helped. How many of them heifers you don't help? And when they make it, they forget all about you. People are ungrateful as fuck. But that's for another video. Right? They forgot all about him. And sometimes you feel forgotten. That stuff is real. You feel forgotten. Do you know what I mean? You feel forgotten. And the stuff is real. It's very real. It's real. And it's going to affect you. I can't say, oh, don't let it affect you. No, it will affect you. You're human. It will affect you. I want you to know that you can overcome. You can't tell people, oh, you shouldn't let it affect you. That's ridiculous. There are people. It is going to affect them. You know what I mean? Rejection affects people. Setbacks affect people. Failure, it affects people. Not getting the grade you wanted, it affects people. Not getting into the school of your dream, it affects people. Going to court, it affects people. Going through a divorce, it affects people. Going through a separation, it affects people. Gaining weight, it affects people. Not having enough money, it affects people. People are affected. as they should. But what I want to say to you is, I'm dropping by the neighborhood and say, hey, girl, I want you to know you can overcome that. You know what I'm saying? And if there's anyone like right now or like later, if there's anyone who has lost their hope, like if you've lost your hope, like if you can be honest, like Marlene, I lost my hope, child. I don't believe in nothing no more. It's okay. I've been through it. I did. You know, you can lose your hope. You're like, man, what's the point? What's the point of this? What's the point of that? Do you know what I'm saying? You can lose your hope because it gets so unnecessarily difficult for you. Do you know what I mean? It gets so excessively like difficult. Like, what is this? Why? What have I done? I didn't kill Jesus. Why am I going through this? Why is this so hard for me? And like these bum tricks out here, you know, just snap their fingers and do dumb stuff. And like, oh my gosh. Like, oh girl, I love you, girl. It's like, girl, she don't do nothing for you. She's not feeding your soul. You know what I'm saying? But that's fact, right? Like you'll see people hurting and you, oh, that's so true. I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you, right? You'll help people, like when people are in need and stuff like that. He said, LOL, you right, you ain't gonna shut up, you know? But you hold people when they're sad. You wipe people's tears when they're sad. You pray for people when they're unsure. You know, you encourage people, you motivate people. You help them to get back up. And then when they get back up, they want to stab you. They want to hurt you. It's like, what the heck is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? It's like they get possessed. Like you who was there for them, you're now the new demon. It's like, can you, girl, go cast somebody else for this role? I'm not the one. I am not the one. You know what I mean? Like the ungratefulness of human beings. It can really, I've been really affected by how ungrateful human beings are. You know what I mean? Like people will force you to become a new creature, somebody that you're not even. Oh, thank you, Rita. You're not even that person. But people will turn into that. People will make you become a person that you're not even, like, that's not even who you are. I'm a really sweet person. Marianne's very chill. I'm very chill. I'm sweet. I like to laugh. I don't like foolishness. But people will make you transform yourself just so that you can protect yourself. And that's some crazy shit. That's crazy. That is really crazy. And it's usually people that you help the most that will hurt you. Though it's insane. It's insane. Like I've had people when they're sad, when they're scared. Oh, Marlene, pray for me. Marlene, pray for me. They want your prayers. They want you to pray for them. Then they want to be the same person about, oh, you're this, you're that. Oh, you're always talking about Jesus. You're always talking about that. But when they're sad, they sure do want you to cry out for Jesus for them. You did. And I'm like, is that jealousy or something like that? Or do you wish you had the proximity to God that I have? What's the problem? Because when you're sad, you do want my prayers, though. You sure do want my prayers. You do want that. But then you want to come and try to talk about you're always talking about God. You always talking about God. But maybe you should talk about God a bit more. How about that? You're a wicked soul. You know what I mean? How some people are just hopeless. Like some people are just wretched souls. Their souls are just wretched. They're just wretched human beings. And that's why I keep trying to tell you, like, that's why I live my life where I don't try to depend on money or the love of money, because I have realized that people who are attached to money in this world, or the majority of people who make money in this world, they're not good people. You know what I mean? They're not good people. You know, they're not good people. They're not good people. And you have to learn to protect your peace and your like, you can't share your spirituality with everybody, because some people they're not set up right. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just want you to be encouraged. I want you to be encouraged. That's the message of the video, right? Be encouraged. Don't let people with full of pockets and full of money tell you that, oh, you don't have your priorities. Shut up. What priorities do you have? Begging a white man for his money so you can invest his money for him? That's your priority? Like, what priorities do you have? What's your priority? Chasing money? What's your priority? That's a priority for you? How do you impact your community? These people, they go to Harvard, they get these Harvard degrees. How are you impacting your community? People don't even know who you are. Your community doesn't even know who you are. The Haitian community doesn't even know who you are. And that's some sad shit. You have all this knowledge. You have all this education. You have all this money. And rappers are more rappers have more in common with the people. People listen more to rappers than they listen to black intellectuals. Why? Because for as raggedy and as ratchet that these rappers might be, these rappers are in the streets. They're in the streets. You know what I mean? They might be doing bad things. I can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? But these rappers, they go to they're like back to school gonna come around. They're the ones buying tennis shoes for the kids in the streets. You know what I mean? They're the ones like buying Christmas gifts for people in the hood. They're the one putting money in the hands of all these mothers. They do bad things, and people know they do bad things. But at least they break bread. And that's the thing about some of these hood rats and these gangsters and these drug and these rappers or whatever. You know what I mean? They break bread. They break bread. They take care of a lot of people. And for that, the streets is loyal. Because they take care of the streets. And that's why many of them can hide in the hood and not get snitched upon, because people, know they bad, but they take care of people, though. You know what I mean? You got all this education, all this Harvard education, all this money you got. But what do you really do for Harlem? What do you really do for the children of Harlem? Do you have summer programs for them? All this money y'all be trying to make. Oh, I gotta make this money. I made this investment. And then always talking about money. But what exactly do you do with this money? Impress white people with it? I'll be damned. I'll be so damn if I had money and all I cared about was my money to impress white folks. I don't care about white people. I'm not white. I'm not white. I'm really not white. Well, I'm truly not white, but it doesn't really matter, right? But I'm saying, what do you do? Harlem Capital, what do y'all do in Harlem? Y'all take a historically black thing. You take a historically African-American thing. You name your business after that. Oh, thank you, Esther. But it's what exactly are you doing for Harlem? Do you feed the kids of Harlem? Do you have a scholarship program for the kids of Harlem? Do you have we can help you get into Harvard, the Harvard MBA school also like we did? What do you do? How do you service Harlem? You know what I mean? If kids don't have shoes in Harlem, can they come to you? What do you do? No, you come with your white psychology and your white patriarchy, you know what I mean, amongst black people. And then you want to act like you're better than or you're smarter than. Go sit down somewhere. And that's why a lot of people don't take people, just like Candace Owen. Candace is, I guess she's kind of smart. I don't know. She makes valid points sometimes. But the way she talks to people, the way she talks to black people, it's disgusting. It's condescending. It's not from a place of love. It's not from you know what? I see what you're going through, but let me help you like this. Let me make you see like this. No. Oh, look at me. I'm better than. I have all the right answers. I know this. I know nobody cares, sis. You're not more black than the next person. Because me, Marlene, I know in my heart, I know in my gut, I know in the pit of my stomach that she wishes she was embraced by the culture. Candace Owens wishes she was embraced by black people the way Tamika Mallory is, the way Angela Rye is, the way a lot of these black ladies are. She wishes she was embraced by black people. Black people are the coolest. That's the cool side of your family. She wishes. And because she's not getting the love that she wants from black people, she wants to embarrass people, demean people, insult people. You know what I'm saying? Because since y'all not going to embrace me, so I'm going to start being an ass and a bitch to y'all. Okay, fine. Embarrass yourself. You're still not going to be welcome, though. You know what I mean? It really hurts her. She sees how people embrace Killer Mike. She wishes it was her. She does. You don't think, you really think she's happy, with all of her comments of white people? No. Do you really think she's really happy when she goes places there's nothing but white people? No. But it's you don't know how to talk to people, Candace. You could be saying the truth. And it's true. Black people should work on their paradigm. But the way you talk to your people, it's not okay. It's condescending. It's insulting. You're acting as if black people in America have always been so dumb and so lazy they don't know anything. Don't do that. Give them credit for something. But it's you'll never hear Candace Owen open her mouth and have a compliment to say to her about her people. You'll never hear Candace Owen open her mouth and have something sweet to say. Oh, you know what? I'm proud to be black. You never hear that from her. You'll never say, oh, you know what? I'm proud of what black women have done in this country. No. Always trying to beat people down with a stick. So that way she can prove to them white people that she's assimilated. She's a good dog. That's all she is. Good dog, Candace. That's it. They're not going to embrace you because you don't love them. And you don't even love yourself. That's the thing. People, when you love people, and you criticize people or you hold them accountable, etc., etc., when people know that you have love for them, they'll take your advice. They might kick and complain a little bit though, but like, nah, I know you love me. You come from a good place. I just wasn't ready to hear it like that. You know what I'm saying? But they know you're coming from a good place. But when people know that intrinsically you don't care about them, you've never cared about them, you're just doing this so you can come off like Bill Cosby on people, then it's like, okay, fuck you. Like, what the heck? I ain't got to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. People don't trust you. They don't trust your intentions. They don't trust your motives. You don't show people that you love black people. There's no love in what you do. It's insulting. It's whitewashed. It's Republican AF. It's supremacist. It's white supremacist. Like that's your whole platform. And I'm like, what kind of black women speak? And the only people saying yes, yes, yes are white people. That is weird. That is weird. Every time you have some kind of event, it's mostly white people. That is weird. To see that it's more white people who identify with your message is weird AF. When Trump speaks, white people show up because he's white and they identify in his message. You're a black girl. And every time you open your mouth, it's only white people who identify in what you got to say. That's really, really concerning. And we have to stop with this whole thing in America. Like, oh, if you love black people, you have to give them tough love. It's the same thing with Kevin Samuels. Oh, because he loves black people and he loves black women, that's why he insults them every day. That's not love. Love doesn't do that. Love doesn't shame people. Love will hold you accountable without shaming you. And not just that. When people love you and they want to shame you or like hold you accountable, they'll do it in private. They'll do it in private. They'll do it in private. In public, they got your back. But in private, they'll say, if you ever do that shit one more time, you're going to see what it is. Does that make sense? Love protects people too. But it's like it's only in America that we're always told that if you love black people, you have to give them tough love. The freak. And it's written in the laws. It's written in everything. The behavior, and that Joe Biden is the same type of white person. Them people who believe that the only way you can reform black people, the only way you can help black people, the only way you can help the black man from himself or the black woman from herself is by giving her tough love. What the heck? But these white kids are out here running crazy. Give your white children tough love. Maybe they'll stop burning black churches. Give your white children tough love. Maybe they'll stop coming to school with guns and shooting their schoolmates. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like there's white kids who call their moms bitches and whatever. Give them tough love. No. It's excuses for white kids and it's tough love for black kids, which means harsher laws, more expulsions, more timeout, more detention. All this stuff is always black people. It's always tough love for black people. You know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. And that's the thing. Like it's a very whitewashed. You know what I mean? It reeks it reeks Republican, it reeks white male Republican, it reeks white male supremacy. It's just weird. It's just weird. Be very careful of black people who tell you, oh, I'm tough on you because I love you. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? They embarrass you. Oh, I'm embarrassing you because I love you. I'm calling you fat in front of people because I love you. I'm telling you that you're a size, like you're a 3 and you're going to die alone because I love you. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to help you be more reasonable. I'm just trying to help you be more reasonable. Child, please. There are many white girls who are overweight. There are many white girls who are obese and they get to marry very rich people. They get to marry very rich white black men. They get to have a black man and yet they're super obese. Okay? But nobody tells the white girl, oh, you should date within your pant size. Nobody says that. You know what I mean? Nobody says that. There are many, many white girls who are overweight. There are many white girls who are obese. And nobody says, oh, if you're white and a girl and obese, you should only date a man who makes $40,000 a year. Nobody says that. Right? But it's the black girl. If she's big, if she's obese, now she needs to be more reasonable. You know, we need to humble her. We need to bring her back to earth, right? But it's like you don't see those discourse, right? There's that supermodel, the white girl. She's a supermodel, Ashley something. She's overweight. She's big. She's not small. She's a plus size, right? But like her, she's not married to a bum. She's not married to somebody who makes $40,000 a year because she's overweight. She married who she wanted to marry. I think the person's probably rich. What's her name? Ashley something. You know what I mean? Exactly. You'll see many white girls who are overweight and they'll have like a really Ashley Graham. Yes, her. She's like, now she lost weight. She was even bigger then. But even when she was bigger, nobody said to Ashley Graham, oh no, you're big, so you should limit yourself to, you should look at your pant size and humble yourself, right? And we just love you. No. She was encouraged. She was motivated, right? Look at Tess Holliday. She's encouraged. She's motivated. Nobody's going to tell Tess Holliday, oh, because you're like mortally obese, you should only date a man that makes 30 grand a year. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't dare tell that. Nobody says to a white girl, oh, you should pick a man and you should settle for a man based on your size. No, nobody says that to white girls. But Kevin Samuel says, oh, he loves black women and he's just trying to help. Oh, he's just trying to help you. So if you're a size 10 or a size 12, you should just accept a man that makes $40,000 a year or you're going to die alone. You know what I mean? Do you know that only 1% of the population, it's always tough love for black people. It's always tough love for black women. It's always, oh, you're black women, be realistic, be pragmatic, which means settle, take the crumbs. That's always the expectation. Oh, you're black, take the crumbs. Oh, you're a big black girl, take the crumbs. Oh, you a big, dark, big black girl. Oh, you don't even have the right to ask for something, bitch. You're big, okay? And you're dark. The hell? You should be happy. That's how it goes out here, y'all. Always. And that's like the girl, Sha'Carri Richardson. She said, oh, she's that girl. The fact that she said, oh, she's that girl. It's like, oh, you're arrogant. That's why I like Felix better. Go ahead. She's like, okay, I don't care. I'm me. And I said what I said. You know what I mean? Every time a black girl is proud, is confident, they want to knock you down. They want to give you tough love. They want to tell you to humble yourself. Go sit down somewhere. Go sit down somewhere. She has the right to say she's that girl. Even like last time she ran slow. Last time, before that one, the race I saw her, she ran at like 10:78. She did 100 meter at 10:78. I think FloJo was like 10:60 something. But she has it in her to run 100 meter in 10.7 seconds. She's that girl. Why should she not say it? I can't do it. Can you do it? How many people on the planet can run this fast? Why she can't say it? She's that girl. But no, because she's black, because she's dark skinned, because she has tattoos, because she doesn't come from a wealthy home, right? So she can't say it. They want to weaponize what this girl said and act like she said something so awful. She's that girl, period. Pooh, she's that girl. Like they take but if it's LGBTQ Pride Month, oh, you should be proud. Oh, Pride Month, oh, have pride. You know what I mean? But when you're black and you have pride, oh no, man, it's an issue. Why is it an issue? Why is it an issue? Why is it an issue? Why you can't take pride in what you worked hard for? Why you can't take pride in the fact that, yeah, you be smoking everybody. Like, yeah, they slow, I'm fast. She's that girl, period. You know what I mean? They don't want to see you. Like they don't want to see you be proud to be black. Like when black pride is like, it's a problem in this country, huh? Black people who are proud to be black and stand on the pride of being black, it's an issue. But if you're proud based on your sexuality, oh, they don't have an issue with that. But if you're just proud of who you are, like your color, your ancestors, what you stand for, that's an issue. Why is that an issue? Why is that an issue? Why is it that black girls always have to diminish their voice? Because if they have a louder voice, it makes other people uncomfortable. Why? Why are you uncomfortable when I boast in myself? Why does that threaten you? Why? Why? You know what I mean? It's always black people, black women are always expected to celebrate their victories in silence, to not be too boastful, to not show this. Why not? Why not? You know what I mean? Always black people, oh, y'all always spending money on this, always trying to shame black people for how they spend their money. Oh, y'all like to show off and show off. Child, please. These white people buy entire islands. What person you know needs an island? That's a major flex. They have all these jets and all these private boats, whatever. I mean, this is crazy. But you buy a little bit of jewelry, a little bit of weave, and some designer stuff. Folks want to shame you and act like you are irresponsible because you buy a designer. People have the right to treat themselves. People have the right to treat themselves. You know what I mean? But white people spend a lot of money too. They spend their money on different things. And because you're not in that circle, you don't know. But if you were like, oh, they lavish too, though. You know what I'm saying? One person gonna spend like $20,000 on some golf clubs. Like, is that really necessary though? They flex in different ways. They flex their wealth in different ways. They buy entire islands, and the people who are native have to move out because the white man said so. Who are white people to buy all this land that God gave to all of us? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, and that's another thing I don't like also. That's another thing I take issue with also. Shaming black people for how they spend their money. People have the right to treat themselves. You can give people advice without shaming them. You can make financial recommendations without shaming people. People have the right to treat themselves. People have the right to splurge a little bit once in a while. People have the right to bless themselves. It's not just us. Everybody else does it. But they do it in different ways. They do it in different ways, and that's okay. It's okay. But it's always like, I'm like, I've noticed like it's always tough love for black people. Like, we're stupid, we're unintelligent, we're just dumb, we're lazy. So you always have to have like a stick on our asses or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. People can spend money how they want to spend the money. The issue is like, for me, Marlene, honestly, it's not that I don't have an issue with like, if you like designer stuff, you like designer stuff, right? The only thing I would say is like, okay, for every designer stuff that you spend, make sure that you put some money to the side for something else. That's it. That's it. Like, just like Marlene, I'm gonna tell you something also. I don't believe in budgets. So, Marlene, what? I don't. Like, I see a lot of like frugality going around. Like, oh, you shouldn't eat at a restaurant. Like, these people just be doing too much. Oh, save everything. Cook your lunch every day, so that way you can save $5 a day. And if you save $5 a day in 30 days, you're gonna have saving $150. I'm like, why are we living like this? Why? Why? Why don't you help people come up with other means, other streams of income? If you want to eat at work, go eat at work. If you want to eat at the restaurant, eat at the damn restaurant. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to bring your lunch every day. Like, yo, you're grown, you work. You can treat yourself to something nice. I don't believe people cutting their cup of coffee. If you like your Starbucks and that's your little luxury in the morning, get that shit. Get your Starbucks, get your Frappiano, get your whatever, your mocha, latte, whatever y'all be getting from Starbucks. Get that shit. You know what I'm saying? If you like to eat nice salmon, if you want to eat salmon every day because you want it, then get it, eat it. I'm not going to tell you not to do that. Do it. But I will tell you, okay, since you know you lavish, since you know you're fancy, you know what I mean? I think you should find different streams of income. That's it. But you like what you like. Exactly. Oh, no. Oh, me and my wife, we never even bought water because we recycle rainwater. I'm like, that's just too damn fucking much. I'm not recycling damn water. If I like to drink Fiji water, I'm going to drink Fiji water. I don't believe in, I'm not going to say I don't believe in budgets. Like, you should have a budget to some extent, but I don't believe in like these constrictive, restrictive budgets. Like, oh, you got to plan everything down to the penny. Like, what the fuck is this? That's just some weird shit. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Hello. Sorry, guys, you probably can't read my lips, right? I'm done with the SBA. These people are useless. You know what I mean? These people are useless. They're just, the SBA is useless. Like, I'm not trying to be funny or disrespectful, but this is why these people shouldn't have voted for these Democrats. These people, they're useless. The SBA is useless. The SBA under like the Democrats, once again, is going back to being what it was, useless. Useless. These racist Republicans, at least when they run the SBA, guess what? Things was getting done. But what do I know, right? What do I know? People only want to vote out of emotion and not vote out of strategy. Like, it's ridiculous. These people are sitting on money. They're sitting on billions of dollars to help small businesses, and they're not doing that. They're not doing that. And nobody's holding them accountable. Nobody's holding them accountable. Nobody's holding Biden accountable. Nobody's holding these people accountable. And many, many people are going to lose a lot of things because these people they're incompetent. They are incompetent. Democrats are incompetent. Oh my gosh, like, I can't deal with these people. She said, "Get your frappuccino." I love you, Marlene. I know it's true. Like, I don't believe in these super ass restrictive ass budgets. Like, oh, I never ate food for the past 25 days. I starved myself for 100 days so I can save $1,000. I'm like, you're doing too much. You are doing too much. Okay. All right. What people need to do, listen, life is life. You got to enjoy life. Enjoy life. There are people who are so restrictive. Like, oh, oh my gosh. There are people who have they didn't do anything so they could retire at 36. I'm like, I will eat at the restaurant and retire at 50. It's okay. Like, it's not that deep. Like, they recycle everything. They save everything. They only go to the thrift store, the thrift store. They only eat ramen noodles. They only buy clothes that are used, or they only wear clothes from their friends. And it's like, this is excessive. I don't agree with that. There's a black guy who does that. I think he's attached with what's that man's name? Ramsey. You know what I mean? Ramsey, Dave Ramsey. Like, Dave Ramsey can be an extremist also. I'm not down with that. There's a black guy. He's like, oh, one time he made a video like, oh, I'm returning the Gucci bag because I really didn't need to spend $3,000 in the Gucci bag. I'm like, boy, bad. Like, okay, why do we care? Return your bag in peace. Like, why is that my problem, right? But it's like they have this, once again, tough love kind of approach, right? You have to be super restrictive. You can't even buy a soda, right? You got to make your own soda, right? You can't even buy detergent. Got to make your own detergent so you can save like $20. Like, it's not that deep. Like, you got to spend money a little bit, right? My only thing is, if you know you're bougie, if you're fancy, I'm like, okay, you're going to have to work harder, right? Maybe get more education, right? Go into the sciences, go into engineering, things like that. You also might have to have other streams of income because you like what you like. You like what you like. I don't even see how psychologically, how being so restrictive for pennies and nickels and dimes is even emotionally beneficial to you. I don't think it is. If you really enjoy, listen, if you work in the place, okay, you know what I'm saying? If she said the gag is, okay, the reality of it is, right? If your little Starbucks in the day gives you that little treat that allows you to deal with your coworkers, that allows you to deal with being black in white America, get your damn frappuccino. You deserve it. Okay? Get your frappuccino. You don't have to sacrifice your little Starbucks. You're an adult. You work. Treat yourself. Right? If once in a while, so imagine you can never go out to eat with your coworkers because you're trying to save $30. Like, come on, stop being a cheapskate. Go out to eat with your coworkers. It's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, it truly, truly is not that deep. Go and eat with your coworkers. Go spend time with your coworkers. You know what I'm saying? Spend time with your coworkers. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I really do not know does that make sense? Like, go live with enjoy your coworkers. Go live life. You know what I mean? Go on vacation with your friends. Live life. Just understand that it's just going to require you to make more money. So it's like, okay, now what do you have to do? That's where I come from. I don't believe, there's a whole budget community and you buy all these envelopes. And mind you, she's making money off of you. I'm like, well, why are they buying your envelope though? Like, there's this lady on Instagram. I'm not even trying to be shady. I'm not trying to be shady. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But it's like, sis, to some extent, you're a hypocrite. Because if you want these people to save money so bad and to be on a budget so bad, They can do it themselves. Like she sells like envelopes. Like she has like a bunch of envelopes that you buy, and you have like an envelope for gas, an envelope for beauty, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm like, if you really want them to save money, then they shouldn't really buy envelopes for you, right? Because your stuff is more expensive. They should just go to Walmart and buy regular white envelopes and just label them. You know what I mean? She has like specific notebooks. Like there's a notebook for January, there's a notebook for Feb, all the way through December. But I'm like, well, if we really want to be cheap and save money and be on a budget, they should make their own notebooks, right? Get some white paper, fold it in half, use a stapler, and then put January on it, and then do that accordingly. You know what I mean? Do it accordingly also. You hear what I'm saying? Like, that's what needs to be done. You know, that's truly like, that really is what needs to be done, right? Just like that, right? So it's like, understand that, like, understand like what that is for people also. Right? So I'm like, she's making money off of her. She's making money trying to help you to be cheap by making you buy stuff you don't really need that you could do yourself. I'm just saying, right? But it's like, I don't like those. I don't like those kinds of advice that they give people. I really don't. Encourage people to be creative. Encourage people to think outside the box. Encourage people to find other ways to make money. Encourage people to see like, yo, money's like, making money is like a game. It's like, don't stress yourself, but you should enjoy your money. Oh, you never get your nails done because you want to save $20. It's not that deep. Get your nails done. Pamper yourself. Like, it's good to go sometime and have somebody else do it for you. You know what I mean? Once in a while also, get your feet done. It's good to get a pedicure. Oh, that's $55. You should save that, because if you put that in the account and it's compounded interestly, you could make $1,000. Well, maybe I don't want to make $1,000. Maybe I want to get my feet done right now. And that's okay too. Not everything is about money. You know what I mean? Like, or having more money. Sometimes money is meant for you to enjoy yourself right now. Like, you just want to enjoy yourself. So enjoy yourself. You know what I mean? Enjoy yourself and live in the moment. You know what I mean? Enjoy yourself and live in the moment. Right? I hope the SBA gets sued. People need to sue the SBA. They need to sue them. People need to sue them. Like, these people are so full of crap. I just thought about that. You know, so I don't know. I don't like this kind of stuff because I'm like, oh, this tough love. Punish yourself. But I do not like when people shame Black people for spending their money how they want to spend their money, right? We should encourage them to be considerate of other choices. Yeah. But if people work hard, they have the right to treat themselves a little bit. You know what I mean? If somebody is Black and they want to buy a BMW, they should. Oh, you shouldn't buy a BMW because when you drive off the lot, it loses value. Baby, everything loses value. Like, okay, they shouldn't buy a new BMW like every day. But listen, if that's the car they really wanted to have, let them have the low BMW if it makes them happy, right? But it's like, okay, now that you bought the BMW, what else are we going to do to help increase your income? That's how we should talk to people. I want to help you increase how much you make. I don't want you to live on a budget. I don't want you to live like paycheck to paycheck or feel like you can't get your hair done. You can't get your nails done. You can't buy new clothes. Like, you always have to live like this austere. Like no. Oh, you always have to wear secondhand clothing. You don't have to. You don't have to. You know what I mean? You have the right to say, I want to go on a bougie ass vacation. You have the right to say, I want to go to Bali and ball out of control. Why not? Why not? You know what I mean? Why not? If you want to have a big house, you can have a big house. I mean, I think it's a lot of work though. But if that's what you really want, then I pray you get it. I pray you get it. You know, and I pray that it's everything you've wanted. People have the right to live. Money is meant to be like, you know, yeah. Money is meant for us to enjoy things. Enjoy life. Because while you're busy trying to save all this money in nickel and dimes, what if you died tomorrow? You're like, damn, I should have enjoyed my money. I should have enjoyed my money. You out here putting your money in all these stock markets and investment accounts. These people using your money to ball out of control. All these mutual fund managers, these investment stock brokers, they living it up on your coins. So maybe you should live up on your own money. And by the time, if you keep your money with us for 20 years, child, please, what's to say your money is going to be there in 20 years? They're going to spend your money. They always go to jail. I watch American Greed. These people always going to prison. You know what I mean? So it's like, I would tell you, oh, don't do it. I'll say that don't do something that's going to put you in harm's way. Like, if you don't have the money yet, it's okay. Let's work on how we're going to get you more money. But I don't think it's a bad thing for people to want nice things. I don't think it's a bad thing for someone to enjoy their Starbucks in the morning. It's not that deep. Like, treat yourself. If you really want to, then do it. You know what I'm saying? Do it. If you want to go on vacation in LA, go. Treat yourself. Man, it might be good for you because guess what? Sometimes when you take a good vacation and you're well rested, you have way more energy. You have way more energy. You have way more drive. Like you're happier because you got like it felt good. It felt good. And when people feel good, people enjoy life. Look at me. I got Tom Ford. I love Tom Ford. I love luxury stuff. I do. I love luxury stuff. And when I'm able to enjoy luxury the way I used to, shoot, I sure will do it again. You should enjoy life. Enjoy life. And stop letting money control you. Because that's the same thing. Like people who are like this hoarding of money, it goes both ways. People who are super, 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 super cheap, they hoard money. They also love money. And their love of money is giving them anxiety of losing money, right? Just like people who are super, super, super rich and don't want to give to nobody also, they hoard money. So both those mindsets are wrong. When you are really rich and you just want more money so you can hoard the money, it's wrong. When you are like, I don't want to say poor, but you just live in a very poor way just so you can save as much money as possible. Also, you're very stingy because of it. That's also very wrong. You know what I mean? Live in harmony with yourself. Like be in harmony with yourself. But I don't like those channels or like these people on social media who tell you like, oh, you have to stop doing, you can't go to the movies. You can't buy like designer stuff. You can't even buy designer juice. Like you have to buy, everything you buy is generic. All your clothes have to come from Walmart. All your underwear have to come from Walmart. You can no longer eat at work. You have to bring your lunch to work every day. Like it's so shameful. It's so shameful. It's like, well, you fucked up your credit, so you never get to be happy ever again. You have to live like a misery case. It's like, this is insane. I'm not signing up for that. I'm not. Like there was this thing, like this one guy, he's black. He has a show. He does the same thing to people. And he had a lady on there, and she's a black lady. And he was like, and her story was like she saved $750,000, right? She saved $750,000. What's it? You okay? What are you doing? For what? Oh, that's sweet. I appreciate that. So she was like, she saved like $750,000, right? And she went through all this stuff. Like she moved into her parents' basement. I mean, all kinds of weird stuff. And I'm like, but girl, the moment you had 750, she sold her house because she didn't want to have a mortgage. And she did. I mean, it was so extreme. And I'm like, okay, you put yourself through all this hardship so you can save all this money. Not what? Not what? You know what I mean? Like, enjoy yourself a little bit. Buy yourself a house. Like, buy yourself a car. Like, just live like a normal person. What are you doing? I'm not punishing myself this hard to save 107 whatever. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Are you investing in other businesses? Like you could invest in other businesses. You can invest in the stock market. You can invest in bonds. Like you can invest in other things, and you can still make like residual income and still like live life a bit. I'm like, can you imagine how stressful it must have been for those kids to have a mom who doesn't want to spend any money whatsoever? I'm like, this is weird. This is really weird. This is weird. So Marlene, personally, I say live your best life within reason, right? Within sense. Live your best life. Yes, you should save money. I definitely agree with that because we never know what could happen. But then again, you can save money and still not have enough money. So, really out here, it's just God's grace, really, but just like live life, like enjoy life. Enjoy life. It's not that big of a deal, and, yeah, she went through a lot. She sold her house. She sold her cars. It was punitive. I was like, this is like punishment. This is a lot. I'm like, do you really need to save some? I'm like, okay. But I'm like, there are people who make that money without having to go through that, though. You don't have to punish yourself like that. You know what I mean? There are people who make that kind of money without having to put themselves through that kind of stuff. Like, it's excessive. It's excessive. And I feel like that's why I like Earn Your Leisure in a sense, because the thing with like that page, Earn Your Leisure, those two brothers over there, they do teach people how to have different streams of income. That's one thing I like. They present you with different ideas. Like, oh, you can try this, you can try that. They're not telling you to be like super duper duper restrictive, right? That's what I like about Earn Your Leisure. They want you to earn the money that's going to allow you to live a life of leisure. They do want to, that's what I get from Earn Your Leisure. I don't follow them like religiously, but what I do get from Earn Your Leisure is I feel like they do want you to enjoy life, right? but they don't want you to use your main income. So like, I think I could be mistaken, right? But I feel like with them, it's like, let's say you have a paycheck. Let's say you have a job and your job pays you, right? They don't want you to use that paycheck to go ahead and buy stuff. They want you to use that paycheck, invest in different like baskets, right? And then once those baskets start giving you residual income, take that residual income and now go live your leisure. If that's what I'm understanding from them. And that's the model I agree with. You should never take your main income for leisurely things, right? Because that's your seed. Like, that's how you invest it. Then you should take your residual from your investment to ball out of control. Because that's not the root of that. That's not the root. It's the like the leaves and the fruit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're saying. Don't be leisurely with the roots. Be leisurely with the fruits of the roots. That's how I get their message. So I like them more. And I think that's why they're doing so well on Instagram and they're doing so well on YouTube, right? Because their channel's doing really well. Their stuff is doing really well because they present people with, you know what I mean? Like, they present you with like different things that you can invest in, make that residual income, then take the residual and have fun. They want you to have fun. The page is called Earn Your Leisure. They're not trying to have you out here live in a tree house, in a mobile home with disposable everything. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. I don't like that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that kind of stuff. We should be helping people to think outside the box. We should help people to know how to monetize their talent. We should help people to know how to monetize their skill set, whether it's hard skill or a soft skill. We should teach people how to work together as a community to make more money together as a collective. We should teach people about real estate. Like, we should teach people like, yo, you can take $1,000, put it in this, and you're going to get like 1,100. And then once you get that $100, put it in this account. That's what we should do. Right? That's how we should talk to Black people. Not be like, oh, only eat out of canned food, only shop at the dollar store, make sure you have all these coupons all with you all the time. That's just too much. Like, yo, $5 savings is not that deep. Like, yo, I'm just gonna pay that shit. Like, it's not that deep, right? Does that make sense? Like, but it's like, we need to normalize and we need to encourage Black people to experience luxury. Right? Like, I want a bunch of Black people to go to the Ritz-Carlton, no matter what country it is, right? When you go into a plane and you look at the first class, business class cabin, you want to see a bunch of Black people. Yo, what's up, family? What's up? What's that? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? You want Black people to get to a place where we actually believe that living well is for us too. Being successful is for us too. That we can also be basic as fuck and make all kinds of money. You know what I mean? We shouldn't always have to be like the people who work the hardest and always make the least amount of money. So I that's what I like about Earn Your Leisure. I'm not so big on the stock stuff because, once again, that's scamming. I think the stock market in America is made to make white people rich. It's made to make white men rich and by robbing the everyday person. So Marlene, I would not necessarily recommend the stock market to Black people. I would recommend land to Black people. I really would. If you're going to want to hold to a stock for 20 years, why don't you just buy land and hold on to it for 20 years? That's what I would do, right? I recommend land to Black people. And I was like, you see, I woke up this morning and I saw it before, but this morning, like, Bishop Jacques made an official announcement about buying like 94 acres of land in Atlanta, right? I'm like, you see, he's buying land. So I'm like, you see, Bishop understands what I'm saying. I know I'm not crazy. That's what I would do. I would not recommend stocks to Black folks. I would recommend land ownership to Black folks and hold on to that for generations. You're going to see, you're going to be very proud. You're going to make more from your land than you will make from the stock market. This stock market stuff, some days it's up, some days it's down. And then one day, all your gains can be wiped. Land, they don't make more of that stuff. Land is a set amount. It's finite. It is what it is, right? And eventually, as population grows, land is going to be more necessary for farming, for housing, for school, for whatever. So it is like, it's a really, really smart investment, right? So that's what I would say. That more Black people come together, especially as families, as friends or whatever, come together and like have investment accounts where you buy lands as a collective and you hold on to that. And the day you decide to sell it, y'all gonna make a lot of money from that, and it's sure money, or you might want to build on it. I don't know, whatever you decide to do. So that's the only thing, right? That's the only. I'm not big on the stock market stuff. I don't trust it. That's just me though. I could be wrong, but my gut feels like no, I don't trust that. They burn all Wall Street, so we can invest in their Wall Street, and that to me is a nod to the nah. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. You know what I mean? Just like I'm looking for ways to like raise money too. Like I'm thinking of like raising money also because I need to raise money. I really do, you guys. Like legitimately, I have to be honest. I need to raise money. The stuff I need to do, I dead ass need to raise money. Like it's getting to that point. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to raise money. But I'm trying to raise money in a way that also puts money in the hands of other people. So it's like, oh, if you help me to raise this money, I'm gonna give you this much money once I get the stuff, so that it goes both ways. It's not just one person that's winning, but that's something I've been working on. I just don't know how to do it yet, but by God's grace, I will figure out pretty soon. But that's what I would say. There are a lot of people need to go into buying land together. Like a whole family could. Like if you take one family for like people have like their family reunion or whatever, if y'all can just agree. Because sometimes one family can have like 50 people, 60 people, 100 people. If everybody gives $1,000 in that family, even of course of a year, that's 100,000 just like that. Like people can do a lot as just as a family alone. People can do a lot. Because if you give everybody like a year to give $1,000, right? They can give $1,200. It's only $100 a month, right? So some people have huge families. They have really, really big families. So it's like y'all can come together and really like be like you can really build generational wealth. All it takes is like you just have to want to do it. That's it. And then if y'all don't really trust each other, y'all can write a contract real quick. It's not that long. It's not that long. If people really want to do something, like I guess that's what he was trying to say, right? But it's true. People really want to do something, they really can. You know what I mean? They truly, truly can. I get that part. But but sometimes like people have like valid excuses. Like sometimes people's excuses are valid. Like, oh, we don't trust each other, which is a valid excuse, right? But it's like, okay, like, but then you actually also might want to go get a lawyer. Then like that way you write the paperwork and everybody feels safe about it, right? But a lot of people have a lot of family members. They have a lot of family, that we have to learn. Like, fear is real. The fear of feeling scammed is real. The fear of people taking advantage of you, it's real. Like, it's real, y'all. It's real. But the fear shouldn't be enough for you to not do what it is that you want to do, right? Because you can still find like lawyers and stuff. I mean, it might cost you more money and stuff like that, but but it's not a reason not to try. You know what I'm saying? We gotta like change like our paradigm. Like we have to change like our mindset. Like we gotta change like the lenses through which like we see life. You know what I'm saying? Even though the pain is real, I'm not gonna take that away. Like life is real, and life has a way of hitting people that is very real. It really does. So I don't know if you guys want to say anything. I don't know if you guys want to come on. You know what I'm saying? I had to get that off my chest today. Sorry, it's getting dark. We're going into tornado season here, so it feels like it's 6 p.m., but it's only 12. Makes sense. So, if anybody wants to come on, feel free to get on the live. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully it helped you, Be kind to yourself, you guys. Be kind to yourself. Pray for me also. It's been challenging. It's been very, very challenging, but be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. You know what I mean? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. It's not easy sometimes, because sometimes like your patience can really run out. But be positive. Be optimistic. Don't give up. It's not easy though. It's just like, I'm so tired. I'm just drained. I don't have it in me anymore. And it does happen. Some days you're like, oh gosh. Oh, child. I've been stressed out, you guys. I've been really, really stressed out. Been so stressed out. And I had things I had like planned. I had things I had like in store. I had so much. I had so much stuff I had planned. And then all that stuff has been like pushed back. And it's crushing. It's really, really crushing, but it's not how you start something, it's how you end it. Rather, the end of a thing is better than how it starts. So, but either way, it's kind of difficult, huh? But what can we do? We can't give up. Giving up is not an option. But some days, though, you need a day off. You don't give up. Don't give up. But allow yourself to allow yourself to take days off if you need days off. Like, allow yourself to take time off. It's gonna get better. It has to get better. It has to get better. It will get better. Like, it really will get better. It really will get better. So that's it, guys. Enjoy your day. I got to go buy some boxes and do all kinds of stuff. So I will talk to you later. Thank you for being my friends. Thank you for being here. Oh, thank you, Applesauce. I like your name. You know what I mean? She said, very helpful, Marlene. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad if it helped you guys. Yeah, it's normal. Fatigue is normal. And I think, like, you just need to rest. Maybe take this weekend and just sleep. Drink a lot of water and just sleep. If you like gospel music, if you enjoy gospel music, right? Just play it and just don't, like, sometimes like you just have to not do anything. Just to lay in bed and just let your body recover. Let your body rest. Let your body rest. Like, I'm like, I have to go email all my pre-order people. I feel so embarrassed, but I got to do it, right? It's just, I don't like to disappoint people. But sometimes it's like, just rest. Just rest. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, even God rests in the 7 day. Exactly. So maybe like this weekend, just rest. You know what I mean? Just rest. And yes, it would have been better if things had been a lot easier. It would have been better. Like me, it would have been better if I had gotten funding. Like, you don't understand, right? But I just came like, oh, they didn't fund you. So you're going to say, oh, the people, they said no to you. So you're going to stop doing it. Like, you can't stop. You have to go. But sometimes going alone, like, it's super hard. It's super, super hard. And I'm someone, like, I think big. Like, I have really big ideas. So, like, my stuff is always expensive. Unfortunately for me, right? My stuff is always expensive because my ideas are expensive. Like, I just always think big. I think really, really big. That's just how I'm wired. I think really, really big. And so when you think big like that, you need a certain amount of capital. So it definitely would have been a lot easier. I'm like, damn, it would have been so much easier. Right. But God knows why. So God knows why, and God knows better. It's not always easy to accept his will, though. But what choice do we have, right? But even that, though, and the thing is, like, even though you do understand that it's God's will, it still hurts, though. You know what I mean? It still hurts. So, but eventually it doesn't hurt as much because the less it hurts and the more it starts to make sense to you why it had to be that way. You know what I mean? But it's really hard. It's really hard. Like, it's really hard. It's really, really hard. It's hard. It's really, you guys, I've been through it. Your girl's been through it. But this time I've made a commitment to myself to not let anything affect me, like I don't want anything to affect me psychology. Like, you're not gonna affect my psychology. I'm gonna breathe, and take it one day at a time. But some days, y'all, I'm just want to just cry. Like, what the heck is this? Why is this happening to me? What the heck is this? I'm like, I wanted to give up. Then I boosted myself up, got back in, and now look at what's happening. Well, but it's not that bad. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. So that's it. Oh, y'all so sweet. Listen, how can we support you? Oh, that's so sweet, you guys. I love y'all. Y'all so damn sweet. You know. Um, but, but just being here also is really sweet of y'all. I appreciate y'all. I really do. God bless you. By the time will come, don't worry. I'm gonna tell you how you gonna support me soon. Don't worry. I'm like, yo, I need your money. No, but I really do, because I really want to do something big. I want to do something big for like October-ish, like September, October, end of the year. I really do. Like, I have a vision, you guys. Like, I really do have a vision. Like, I have a really big vision. I have a really big vision, And it's like, I don't know. I really do have a big vision. I have a big vision. And I really believe that Black people don't need to have like white investors. Black people don't need to go to white people and say, "Oh, I'll do whatever you say, and I'm gonna break my back so you can give me some money." I don't think any Black person needs to sell their dignity to white folks to make it. I don't think you have to sell your Blackness to make money. I don't think so. I think you can just ask Black people to help you. I think Black people can, and I think the biggest investor you can have as a Black person is other Black people. You know what I mean? That's it. Even the everyday person. Because somebody like even $20, bunch of people giving you $20, that's a lot of money. It adds up. It adds up. You know, a bunch of people giving you $100, like it adds up. You know, there's power in Black people. That's why you don't need to feel like you have to sell your voice. And I think like before, it was harder. I don't know. Maybe it became harder for Black people to raise money from Black people. So people started being fake out here just to get ahead. But I don't think you have to compromise your Blackness. I don't think you have to compromise your voice. I don't think you have to compromise your message. I don't think you have to compromise anything. Be you. Be unapologetically Black. And you're going to make it. Like, you know what I mean? Like Issa Rae, she's not out here begging people. She just does stuff for Black people and like, it connects and they support. So it's like, that's just it. You know, that's just it. That's truly it. Like there's power. And that's why I'm like, even for Candace, like, can you imagine like if Candace knew how to talk to Black people and they supported her, she would be even bigger than what she is. Oh, thank you, boo-boo. I appreciate you. Like she would be so much bigger. You know what I mean? That's like, I'm telling you, when Black people want to support you, they really support you. I saw it with George Floyd. That people put like 20 millions up because he got $14 million in his GoFundMe. And then his daughter got like 5 million. I'm like, rounded up, it's probably like, yeah, Candace Owens, yeah. If the culture embraced Candace, ooh, she would be unstoppable. She would be. When I tell you Candace Owens, you think Oprah Winfrey is somebody? If Black people embrace Candace Owens, she will be the next Oprah Winfrey, easily. But she hates her own people, and she's not realizing that. If you don't win at home, where are you really a winner? You see what I mean? If she was using all that stuff she does to the benefit of Black people, oh my gosh, because she's very eloquent, but she's on the wrong side of history. She's on the wrong side of history. She's like, I'm like, you're not moving smart, girl. I'm telling you, if it was Black people supporting that girl, she will be. Look at that boy talking X. You know what I mean? Black women. When Black women support you in this country, you're going to win. Oh, you're going to win big. Look at Fenty. You're going to win over time. Like, oh gosh. You're going to win so much, you don't even know what to do with yourself. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Like, I mean, like, look, who's saving OWN? Who saved Tyler Perry? That's why I'm like, even Kevin Samuels. That will make me stay here for 4 hours. Even Kevin Samuels. He might do all his little shenanigans, but he's not where he should be. If Black women were supporting Kevin Samuels, y'all, you would already see him on TV. He would already have commercials. He would have book deals. He would like move out that little apartment and he would have a whole mansion. Look at all these Black men who cater to Black women. Look at their career. Look at Bishop Jakes. You see how much money Bishop Jakes has? Woman Dar or Loose, number 1. Woman Dar or Loose, number 2. Woman Dar or Loose, part 15. Potter's House. All the stuff he does. Everything centers around what? Black women. You don't see how he went it? Tyler Perry. Everything he does centers around what? Black women. He's like a billionaire. There is power. When Black women mess with you, you're going to be rich. Like you're going to be so damn rich, you won't even know what to do with you. There's power in Black women. These women are powerful. If the white man wants to send you to prison, if Black women say, no, you're not going to prison, you're not going to go to prison. You're not. They will find a way to finesse that stuff. When I tell you, you're not going to go nowhere. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's Black women who carry George Floyd's story on their back. That's why he's so famous now. It's Black women. It's not Black men. If they take an investment in your issue, you're going to make it. I'm telling you, you're going to make it. Dead, posthumously, alive, you're going to go you're going to be famous. But if they say, nope, I don't like you, that's why, like last night, Kevin Samuels was trying to go hard on the man and attack the man. You know what I mean? Because he's understanding, like, he thought going on the Tasha K show would legitimize his foolishness. No, it's not. You cannot win if you don't love the Black women. That's just how it goes out here in the streets. Trick Daddy tried it. He tried it. And instead of saying, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. No, he went and doubled down because he didn't know what time it was. I said, oh, you see what happened to him in his restaurant, his Yelp reviews, his Google reviews? The Beehive, the Beehive stormed his reviews. And that's what you get. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't get any ideas. It's not going to be cute for you. That's just how it goes. They're very, very powerful. They want you to believe that the Kardashians are powerful. The Kardashians are not powerful. Even when they break up with a black man, they move up with a black man, they always tell their story in a way that does not offend black women. These Kardashians are very afraid of black women. Like Kim had to move strategically with her divorce from Kanye, right? Khloe has to handle the question about Jordan Wood strategically, right? They fear black women because they know if they don't like the way you said something, it's going to be a problem. As they should. More power to them. More power to them. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the thing. Like, that's real. But I'm like, if Candace Owens was embraced by black women, oh Lord, she will be like way more powerful than Oprah Winfrey. Absolutely. She will be so much more powerful than Oprah. She might be a billionaire by now. You know, but she's not playing this thing smart. And the same thing goes for Kevin Samuels. He picked the right team. He picked the wrong team. He's on the wrong side of history. This stuff Kevin Samuels does to black women like this, he's going to pay for that dearly. He's going to pay for it dearly. Wait to see. Nobody ever finishes well. Yeah, she talks well, but she talks for the wrong side. You know what I mean? You know? But when I tell you that Kevin Samuels is going to pay for this thing dearly, look at what happened to Bill Cosby. You know what I'm saying? You pay. Betraying, embarrassing, making fun of black women, you're going to pay. The bill's going to come. The bill's going to come. And that bill is going to run him out of town. Like, you don't, no. Kevin Samuels, he's on the wrong team. He's on the wrong team. He's on the wrong team. You don't do that. You don't do that. Even Joe Biden knows you don't do that. No. Don't do it. Even the Democrats, they are very careful how they handle black women. Very, very careful. And even white men, even powerful white men are very careful how they handle black women. And you think as a black man, you can handle black women any way you see fit. Okay. Keep doing it. Like I'm telling you, all these social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, they're giving this man enough rope to hang himself. Y'all going to see how the demise of Kevin Samuels. They'll be like, oh, Marlene told us. You will see the demise. If Kevin ever gets in trouble with white people, if he ever gets in trouble with a white woman, and his life is in the line, his freedom is in the line, he will go straight to prison. Watch. You don't see how now that Bill Cosby in prison, he tries to appeal to black women to get him out of there? You don't see that? You don't see how R. Kelly tries to appeal to black women to get him out of there? And they're like, nope. You'll see something's going to happen to this Kevin Samuels. And you'll see that the white people going to pick him right up because he will have no voice. Black women are the voice. They are the voice for black women. They're the voice for the black man. They're the voice for black children. They're the voice for the black elderly. If they don't support you, your story goes nowhere. This is a very powerful group of people right here. And it's like you think insulting them, making fun of them, bashing them, say, oh, bitch, get off my line. Like you think you can keep doing this, using their pictures to make these weird thumbnails and degrade them. No problem. Keep doing it. I'm telling you, YouTube and Instagram, they're giving this man enough rope to hang himself. You guys will see the demise of Kevin Samuels. Marlene told you. You will see. Bill Cosby, it took as long as it took. Look where he ended up. Look where he ended up. And when he had all his problems, black women did not support him. That's why he is where he is today. You pay. When you betray black women, you're a traitor. You pay. You will pay. Kevin Samuels will pay. It's a matter of time. He's going to pay. You know what I mean? And that's that on that. That's that on that. But I'm like, Candace Owens, if she was embraced by black women, with her, like the way she's smart and her eloquence and everything like that, I am telling you, she will be the new Oprah Winfrey. She will be super powerful. You know, and they even know that. Like her white gatekeeper, like her white masters, they know that. That's why they want her to be at odds with her own people. She's not even realizing how she's getting played, because they know if she goes back to her camp and she's embraced by her own people, she's going to be unstoppable. But on their side and at opposition with her own people, she can be controlled. She's not even aware. She getting played herself. You don't win away from your people. You don't win being separated from your own blood. It doesn't work. They will never accept you. And you'll never feel at home because they're not your people. They will never be your people. You can put a cat amongst dogs forever. He will never be a dog. You know what I mean? You can put a wolf amongst bears. He will never be a bear. It is what it is. So go ahead now and lie to yourself. But these people know you're not their own. And you know they're not your people. So it's sad. It's sad. And one day they will turn on Candace. One day they will turn on Candace. Just like that. Like one day they will turn on her. And it's going to be really sad, you guys. It's going to be sad. Because the day they no longer need an angry black woman to be on their side, the day they no longer need an angry black girl to help them appease their racism, you'll see how they'll treat her. It's going to be very, very sad. And she will have no one to stand for her. Look at what happened to like that girl from Clueless, Stacey Dash. Did she not come out here and apologize? Did she apologize? When her white husband called the police on her and treated her like a black woman, she's like, oh, dang. You see, that humbled her. Because then she got a real reality check because she went to jail. He called the police on her and she was arrested. Then she wants to start saying sorry to black people. It's too late. It's too late. She's sure not reading the room. Because you can be smart and dumb at the same time. You know what I mean? You can be smart and dumb at the same time. But Stacey, she was drinking her own Kool-Aid. She's like, oh, I'm married to a white man. I'm okay. I don't have any issues. So she was doing all the da-da-da-da-da. But she put her hand on that white boy. She hit him. And he didn't forgive. He called the police right then and then. And they charged her with battery. She was arrested. She went to the jailhouse. She has a record. You know what I mean? For battery. And I think it really hurt her. Like, it's like, wow. Because, you know, if she had hit a black man, he wouldn't call the police on her. But the white man did. He treated her like she was a black terrorist. She was like, ooh. And then I think it really, really it affected her. Because she really thought she was safe. She really thought she was different. Oh, look at me. They're not mean to me. I'm married to a white man. I live in luxury. I play Clueless. I'm a celebrity. I'm famous. I'm a Republican. But when he treated her like she was a regular black hood rat, and he called the police on her like that, and the people came, these white police officers came, and they put the cuffs on her, and she was treated like an angry black woman, and she was thrown in that jailhouse and humiliated. Oh, ooh. You see? She came running to say sorry to black people. Because he reminded her, I'm white, you're black. Don't you ever put your hands on me. He did. If she had hit a black man, he wouldn't have called the police on her. Like, girl, you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it would have been the end of that. But that white boy called the police on her, and she was locked up. She was arrested, charged with battery, domestic battery. And so Mark said that he was her one phone call, and I bet you he didn't pick up. So I think that like that really humbled like Stacey Dash. Like, wow. Oh, wow. I can be treated like a nigga. Yeah, you can. All of us can. All of us. That's I'm like, you should never think that you have enough money or fame or whatever, that you know the law so well that these people are not going to humble you quickly. Oh, yes, they will. They know how to. They will, and they know how to. You know what I mean? So that's that, my people. I love you, though. Marty loves you. And that's that. Okay? So enjoy your day. Pray for me. And let me see how I can go finesse. I got to go finesse some more. Child, I'm tired of finessing. But I finesse like every day. I got to go finesse some more. But enjoy your day. And thank you for spending time with me. And I'll talk to you guys later, okay? Follow me on Instagram. Lena the Money Girl. I'll be on there if you want to. What is it, Lena the Money Girl? Yeah. Did it even go through? Oh, you're welcome, babe. Oh. You're welcome, precious. Yeah. So here it is, right? Child, there's always an issue with my. I gotta change my battery in my keyboard. But that's the thing, though. It's Lena. He said, "We love you and your non-mediocrity." Thank you. Yeah, that's the page. You can send me a DM if you want to bless me. I'll give you my stuff there if you DM me. Yeah, so it's Land the Money Girl. I'm there. You can talk to me. I'm in the DMs all the time. I love the DMs. I'm always like doing DM stuff and everything. Oh, look at Mark. What's up, Mark? I see you. I'll follow you back. You know what I mean? That's where I be on. I be on there all the time. Right? So enjoy that, and I'll see you guys later. Please enjoy your Wednesday. Cheer up, cheer up. Cheer up. It's going to get better. We're going to get through this. And maybe we should do this every morning until the rest of the year. Maybe I should come here daily and just like talk to y'all. Y'all can talk to me, and we can encourage each other for the rest of the year, because we need these moments. Like we need these little talks daily. Like we need to Precious there too. We need to hype each other up like daily. So I think like that's something that we're going to do here. We're going to do that like every day. I'll try to do that. Like if you guys don't mind, because I'm an early person. If we can do it like early in the morning, I'm down for that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm down for that. Like early morning. So if I start early, even if I ramble on, it's still like early that I can go do something else, because but I'm like, let's encourage each other, because I need encouragement also. It hasn't been easy. I need encouragement. So let's encourage each other. But thank you so much for being with me today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have another great topic tomorrow. But don't give up, okay? Don't give up. Life is hard. Your excuses are valid, But I got you. We got you. You're not alone. Okay? I love you. Love you all. Thank you for being my friends. And I'll see you guys later. Deuces. Holla at your girl. Bisous, my people. Bisous.